Well, welcome everyone to Trovo Titans. I am, of course, Ready Set, and I'm joined by none other than Nighttime Clasher, who's going to be our analyst today. And we got some exciting matches coming up, Night.
That's for sure. We got 16 of the best teams from Europe going at a chance for $2,500 today and a lot of Titan points. So they're going to be going for cash today and trying to rank up on the leaderboard.
Yeah, and we're already going to get to look at the bracket, actually, so we'll get an idea of what our first matches are going to be. Lots of teams that you may have heard of, and also some teams that are trying to make a name for themselves. First up, we're going to see Craze Clan versus Navi, and honestly, Knight, this is probably going to be a pretty crazy match to start things off. Yeah, I can't believe we're going to see a match like this right off the bat.
Yeah, Craze Clan especially was one of those teams that actually were able to knock off Navi in the EECA region, something that most people thought was impossible. So I'm very excited to see that game.
Yeah, we also got some others that you've heard of. Esport Empire, Genius Gene, lots of awesome teams competing during the day for that sweet, sweet pot of 2,500. Let's take a look at all of the prizing for today. And I mean, it speaks for itself. There is fame to be won, but there's also glory to be won. That 2,500 pot is going to culminate in a #1 prize of €900. And I mean, I would love to be walking home with €900 today. You split it up, €300 for each of you, and I'd be feeling pretty good about myself.
Yeah, absolutely. And on top of that, we got those Titan points that I said earlier. Those will culminate after a lot of these tournaments and will be redeemable for more kind of prizes.
Well, wow, are we already getting into game #1? We got the map and the mode for game #1 already rolling through. In our first match of the day, we're going to be starting things off on Super Stadium, then Double Swoosh, and then finally Shooting Star. When we get into the quarterfinals, we are going to be moving to a best-of-5 format, but for the time being, it is a best-of-3. Those first two sets are going to be so important, because, well, you can get swept 2-0, and, well, none of us want that, Night.
Absolutely. And each of these matches on each of these maps is going to be a best-of-3. So let's see how these teams bank their comps for this first map and what they ban in accordance to each of these maps. And with a lot of these new gadgets from like Stu, Primo still being the monster that he is, there's Bell, a bunch of those really strong brawlers. We'll see how those bans are going to affect how you play these maps. And on top of that, you might see some more uncommon bans, right? Gene is definitely a less common ban because he's not OP, but a lot of teams don't have a main Gene. So on like Double Swoosh, Super Stadium, Gene is a really dominant brawler. So let's see how that plays out.
Yeah, typically when we look at the bans, we see kind of like a balance between banning out these really powerful brawlers in the meta, and also banning out the brawlers that, well, we just don't like playing against. If we're to use the E region, for example, we'll talk AC Milan Clash, they always get rid of Jesse. Now, is she like the strongest brawler in the meta? No. But, I mean, hey, if the ban works for them, then it works for them. And typically, these kind of bans are what you see from the more confident team walking into things. They don't want to be surprised by any crazy comps, right? We don't want to face the Poco double tanks, so we'll get rid of Poco. Is Poco that amazing? Not necessarily, but we want to eliminate that possibility for ourselves. So, what are some more like other common bans that are not go-tos, but are definitely going to help out our players here?
Sure. So one of the more common bans right now is Ruffs. Ruffs, his position in the meta mostly has to do with his use of the Sandbags gadget, the take cover gadget. That's used to like block Gene supers, Stu shots. Any single target brawlers are really going to get really hurt by that gadget. So when you ban Ruffs, you're going to open up more opportunities for people to play Ruffs, play Bell, and those brawlers are going to be a lot more dominant. But on the other hand, there's also bans that affect the tank meta. There are brawlers that you can, there are brawlers that you can take off to like help tanks or like hurt tanks, like B or Colette.
Yeah, I think we got our bans coming through, actually. Yeah. Well, we'll get an idea of... our upcoming events for Trovo Titans. Because, of course, Trovo Titans is not exclusively a Brawl Stars thing. We also got some other games that are going to be going on under the Trovo Titans moniker. We got Counter-Strike Go up next. Then it's going to be Apex Legends later in August. League of Legends is going to be happening in early August. And Clash Royale, keep your eyes peeled for that one in September.
Yeah. So
yeah, well, pretty soon we'll be moving right along into that first match of the day. But I mean, Knight, we were talking about like the Colonel Ruffs. You know, you can get rid of some of those single target brawlers, really counter them out pretty well. I think Tara is another one of those that really hurts the single target brawlers, like Stu, for instance.
Yeah, so Tara is another one of those. Green button wins the lane for you. You just pop it 3 times on like a Surge, any other brawler like Belle, Piper, and they have to waste so many shots on those little children from Tara. I mean, Piper with such a slow reload, Belle with a slow reload. You're going to be able to send those minions in one by one and just walk all the way to the end of the lane, and you just win it. It's free.
That's so funny. Yeah, to think that, you know, a gadget can be that powerful when it just, like, you know, spawns 3 minions that are practically one tap anyway, that it can seriously screw up some of those single target brawlers. Is it usually played as a counter, or is it just, you know, kind of a benefit that it counters the brawlers?
Tara is almost always played as a response to brawlers like Surge. You're going to see her a lot on Super Stadium for that reason. Because first, Barley is good on Super Stadium, but Surge counters Barley, and then Tara counters Surge, but then Barley counters Tara. So you kind of see the rock, paper, scissors dynamic on the lanes there.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's also brawlers that can counter those Ruffs and Tara gadgets because they can pierce through multiple targets. That's going to be brawlers like Sandy. Penny especially does such a great job because the brawler spawns the minions or the sandbags, and then Penny's going to burst those sandbags and kill the brawler just in a second. So yeah, brawlers who can take care of those minions really quickly. You can switch up your lanes, call a left to right switch or a right to left switch. And yeah, your single target brawlers aren't going to be wanting to fight those gadgets off.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, we got the bans ready. Let's go and check out what our players have banned for match number 1. Knight, you're going to really help me break this down as the brawlers roll in from both teams because, well, we got the Belle ban first up. Knight, that's pretty expected. She's a very powerful brawler in the current meta.
You know, we got Primo. That's nothing too surprising.
Yeah, don't want to deal with him. Stu, also pretty
those are
predictable.
3 of the ones.
Yeah, but who's our unexpected one? Never mind, it wasn't
Last
too
one.
unexpected. Yeah, after seeing how Buzz has performed in some other games, I am not shocked at all to see the Buzz ban. That stun in the mobility across the map is just absolutely incredible, and I'm kind of surprised that we haven't seen it as often in other games when we don't see the Buzz ban.
Yeah, so Buzz, is taken off. The newest brawler. Actually, I think he's relatively underrated in this current meta, especially since his health is not that great for someone who gets right up in your face. 5,800 can be burst down by just 2 brawlers relatively quickly. On top of that, it's quite easy to deal with his grapple. The grapple can be knocked back with just gadgets, actually. Jean's gadget, M's gadget will just disable the entire grapple, and it's not very good for Buzz. And Surge, of course, also can just hop right on top of him and knock him away. So there's a lot of easy ways to deal with the grapple. So it's definitely not like an overbearing brawler, but not OP either. So maybe Navi doesn't feel too confident playing the Dino, or they don't want to be surprised by it because, again, a new brawler, people are still figuring him out, becoming better with him. So it's not necessarily something you want to deal with as a top team.
Yeah. Eliminate those possibilities of surprise or, having to account your comp for something that is absolutely completely different, like night and day with other strategies. And of course, we're talking a lot of like Poke Double Tank or Poco Tank, and then like a Mortis, if you even dare call Mortis a tank. Obviously, those brawlers that we just saw, they are not going to be played. It's going to come down to what our other brawlers other brawler possibilities are, which honestly opens up a lot of things. I think though I think our brawlers that we can play are still going to be pretty cut and dry. It's going to be a lot of Jean, some Terra here and there, some Surge to deal with any kind of throwers and the like.
Yeah, absolutely. So we saw Jean not being banned. He's probably going to be the most prevalent brawler, and in response to that, you're going to see Ruffs and Jean and maybe a thrower sometimes is a really good combo. Probably not on these maps, but just Ruffs and Jean in general. When you can give that health to Jean, give that buff to Jean, and it just becomes really strong. Ruff also with the gadget does counter enemy Jeans, so that's a great thing to hold on to. And Super Stadium being the first map, you could also see a little bit of B. B in the mid has shown to be quite strong. Again, B has the little honeypot gadget. You just drop it down. The Gene's going to yank the honeypot instead of the B. And then, yeah, that's just wasted Gene pull right there. So you can't pull a B. And yeah, we'll see how she does because, I mean, tanks obviously get destroyed by her as well. The only weakness of B, I think, is Barley, is Sprout, because those brawlers, you can just rain down shots on her. She's gone in just a second.
Yeah, I mean, I want to talk about that gene pull, right? You're able to block the gene pull with the honeypot. It's pretty much the saddest thing that you can see in competitive gameplay, and it's something that you see like every now and then as well. It's not like a really uncommon occurrence. Block the gene pull with any kind of spawnable, and he pulls that instead, and I really do shed a tear for that poor Gene who missed what could have been an absolutely crucial pull. So we got B almost locked in for our upcoming game on the Super Stadium, and we got the Gene possibility as well, and then some throwers to deal with the B as well. No Stu, obviously, but we might see some other speedy brawlers. I don't know, Max has been picked by some teams, even though she got nerfed really hard, though. You see the playstyle shift up a little bit, where Max goes more aggressive and tries to be more of a DPS rather than just a support brawler. What's your take on that one, Knight?
I think Max just struggles right now. Before, you have that supercharged star power where you can just passively move around and charge your super. With that being such a massive nerf, I think it was a 75% nerf, it's just not going to bring you any value. You're actually going to have to get up in people's faces, hit shots, and it's going to take a lot longer to just play passive, get a super, and then go on the offense, which was mostly the playstyle we saw before. Now you're spending so much time waiting, you're going to lose massive control. If there's throwers or anything, you're not going to be able to use your speed to get on them quickly. They're going to be all over you, and it's not going to be a very fun game.
Yeah, you used to be able to get that super for free too, right? You just charge it up with a star power, and now that's been nerfed pretty hard. And I mean, as we know with a lot of other brawlers that auto-charge their super, it is just such a powerful ability, or not necessarily auto-charge so much as like get it for free, right? We see it with Buzz, where people with Buzz will just like sit in a corner and wait for enemies to walk through that area to charge up their super. We see it with Daryl has not been in the meta for a hot minute. Right, Edgar? He hasn't been in the meta for a while either. But just anything that's free is so valuable when you don't have to work for it, when you don't have to risk feeding your enemy any supers to get your own and possibly go down and leave your team in a 2v3 situation. Absolutely.
And a reason we don't see Edgar or Daryl, although you do get the super for free, 30 seconds is far too long. Now Edgar, actually, with that gadget, is a brawler I can certainly vouch for. Yeah, my team has had some nice success with the Edgar brawler. But yeah, it does really good into throwers. It's an underrated pick. I'd be more than happy to see some teams pulling that out of their back pocket today.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much specifically to deal with a thrower, right? Because I don't really see Edgar used for much else. He does kind of struggle versus brawlers that have like a lot of DPS, or are even adequately able to defend themselves at close range, just because he does get the healing, right? And you can equip fisticuffs as well to get even more healing from your main attack, but even then he's going to struggle very hard in those close range interactions. Jesse might be able to deal with him, might be able to like 3-shot him. And I think that kind of like speaks volumes about how much health and how much healing he's able to get, though he is able to deal with the throwers pretty easily. Though in that situation, I would feel like Surge might be better to deal with that. Sure, Surge is going to struggle to push up on the lane to begin with, but of course he still has the teleport in his arsenal, and he's also going to be able to deal with other long-range brawlers once he upgrades later on.
Yeah, so Surge is going to be a really, really strong pick for throwers, and just in general, he's not that bad. I mean, Ruffs will do a very good job against Surge, but that's why he's really strong in Super Stadium. Ruffs is not a very common pick, although Terra is a very common pick. Actually, Tribe Gaming is, I mean, the Tyrant Star on Tribe Gaming is a player you'll see going Terra on pretty much every time there's a Super Stadium. He will be playing Terra. Their team loves to play Terra there, and I think that says a lot, because those single target minions will prevent the Gene, prevent the Bee, prevent Surge, a lot of brawlers actually. So Terra could be a nice pick for our first map here.
Yeah, we could see it like on the right lane, on the left lane we see the Bee or something to deal with the Bee. Definitely going to see that possibility of a Bee. We're going to start things off here on Super Stadium. Now he's bringing out the Sandy here on the left lane, which is interesting to see. We also got Meow on the Spike, which is a bit of a new introduction here in the EU, but with the introduction of that big cactus life plant, but I call it the big cactus, it is going to give Spike a lot more power on the lane with the ability to tank.
Absolutely. I'm a little surprised to see Spike here, actually, considering how badly Spike does against throwers. I mean, a Barley on a Spike is probably the freest thing you're ever going to have. But I can see the pick. I'm not sure what analysis this team did, but wow. Going to see the Gene get the pull on the B immediately. Gadget not going to come out, and Navi's going to be pushing all the way into the goal here.
Yeah, I can definitely see why MMA was trying so hard to win that lane versus Naui, because he's going to be one of the main forces defending Craze Clan's goal. Now getting pulled, though, a massive pull for Cube and a scoring opportunity for Navi. Are they going to do it? Well, BBGs is throwing in that super and some main attacks, but here comes Naui to shut things down. Lots of burst damage. MMA also laying down the control with the super. Cube is going to look for this goal here, and it barely goes in around the left side, almost blocked by Madara. It's going to be 0-1 in favor of Navi.
Yeah, and you see like none of these brawlers from Craze Clan can actually deal with the threat of a Barley. I mean, Noe, it doesn't matter how good he is, he just can't push up on the Barley. He'll just die instantly. And as you see, Noe's just getting completely pushed back, and then when MMA has ground on the left lane, he can push into the mid lane as well and help Cube win that matchup. And then the right side is pretty much at a standstill. Not much is going on over there. The spikes, and one does go down. Madara wastes that honeypot and goes down as well. But Craze Clan looking to be on the offense now, needs to make something happen. Navi though, probably just going to corner this ball and call it a day.
Meow has that super. Ouch, he's not going to be able to heal himself up fast enough. Big Cactus goes down. Madara isn't able to get that offense either. It's going to be game number 1 going to Navi. And this was actually a bit closer than I was expecting it to go, right? Cube was definitely having some trouble there at mid. And then we see the assistance from Barley to help out at mid. Still outranged a lot by B, but they were able to make it work with a 2v1 situation and going for the pressure on the left lane to start things off.
Absolutely. So I need, if I were Craze Clan, I would know that we need to make a switch on the brawlers, because nobody on their team had the means to deal with Barley. They didn't have any ways to break the wall. They didn't have anyone who goes over the walls. So that Barley was just raining down terror on them that entire game. especially bringing a Spike and a Sandy. Those are brawlers that just do very, very bad against Barley. So they definitely need to make some adjustments. But if you're Navi, you know that they're going to make an adjustment there. That's fairly obvious. So then how do you adjust your own comp? So it becomes another, do you know that I know that you know that you know? And then let's see how these teams deal with it here.
It gets so convoluted so quickly, you know, and I can definitely side with him for the Spike pick, right? Because one thing that was left open by that ban phase was the possibility of a Poco and the possibility of a Byron. Now, Byron, you know, not so much as Poco, is going to be a threat when combined with a tank, especially when you have, you know, these long range possibilities. You can have like the B played into a Byron, and they both have competitive range. And it is kind of stressful to go up against a tank as well when you know that your control-based comp is going to really struggle against this very tanky comp. So that being said, I can definitely see where they're coming from with the Spike, but being played into a Barley, it's not really going to work. There are other possibilities, and by this point, it is pretty clear that Navi is going to be going for something more control-based rather than pulling out some crazy tank comp or any healers here. So I think Crazy Clan is going to go into this next game with a little bit more confidence than they went into game number one with. Changing up the comp, and they are actually going to bring Madara onto the Gene. Yeah, and it's a crazy comp. Ouch! And Navi, they are going to be breaking down Crazy Clan mentally just in set number one night.
Oh my goodness. Navi gonna be going crazy with a Mortis and a Bull. Honestly, that's very interesting in my opinion. Especially knowing that they have this Spike, they have a Gene, and even last game, Madara was on a B. So that's a big risk, but let's see how it plays out. Certainly not a good matchup against these brawlers. Spike, without the popping pin cushion though, is a little bit worse against tanks than he was before, but still going to be a great option with those slows. And Sandy pretty much going to be able to have a sand cloud open on the field at all times. Gene just probably looking to pull people with the Spike, knock people back with that gadget, but he's only got 3 charges of that gadget, so he's got to make great use of them. BBGS going to go right in here.
Triple bats?
Yeah, that was a triple bats. They're going to go ahead, walk this right in. Navi says, no problem. Let's just go right in with the Mortis.
Insane place to start things off. Navi looking so strong from here. Now we with the stun though, and Madara also with the stun. But those are gadgets, man. They are running low. Madara might have enough health. Actually, he's going to pass it to Meow, and Meow's going to, barely be able to put that into the corner. BBG's was just a little bit too far ahead to get the defense, but I will commend him, though. That was a pretty slick move there. However, it is going to tie things up 1-1. Cube has the super, as much as that means. MMA is looking for his next super to heal up Cube when he goes in, and the clock is counting down. These obstacles are about to break down. Crazy Clan, they just got to keep up the defense, but Navi, they're definitely going to be going aggro, and Madara senses it. He goes for the pull and gets the kill on the BBGs. Once again, it's just Poco on defense.
Yeah, and the thing about this matchup between the Poco Double Tank versus like a regular control comp, Poco Double Tank does really well at 2 times in the game. One, at the very beginning, when nobody has a super, they can just rush right in, but during the middle game, when everyone has supers and gadgets, they're going to struggle. And then towards the end of the game, when all the brawlers are running out of gadgets, Poco Double Tank does well again. And yeah, we'll see how they deal with overtime, since they do not really have the range. But BBGS going to go with triple bats twice. Cube, yeah, I think this is it. Cube's just going to go right in with the Stomper, I think. Oh, no.
Here it comes,
BBGS
Stomper. Yeah, huge connection onto Naui. Meow stuck in the corner.
Oh, wow.
He's going to go for something, but MMA catches it. Cube is going to try, and he manages to walk it in with the assistance from Poco. Well, we saw it at night. It was, as we said, the crazy comp, but it was not from really the crazy team as we may have been expected. It was Navi that brought out that Poco, Tank, and Mortis, and it worked pretty well, even though they played into a couple of counters there. So that is set 1 done and dusted. We'll be moving into set number 2 pretty soon, but I mean, I love the way that this was handled by Navi. It's very entertaining to watch the kind of rock, paper, scissors in terms of comps.
Yeah, you could see what they were going for during the middle of the game. The Mortis was just going in at every opportunity that he got. The Mortis, what they were trying to do is get rid of the Gene gadgets, get rid of the Sandy Sleepy gadget. The reason you want to get rid of those is Mortis doesn't really do that much damage, but he can go in quickly, respawn, get rid of a Gene gadget here and there. And you can see, like, even at the end, for overtime, when the Bull just had the ball in front of the Gene was completely out of gadgets. No way to knock back the Bull. And Bull, whenever the opponent has no gadgets, can go in with a Stomper, get 1, 2, or even 3 kills at a time. I mean, not being able to knock out a Bull who has like 8,000 health with that shield is just going to be a nightmare for any team. So yeah, Navi really knew what they were doing there. Their crazy comps definitely paid off.
Yeah, that is actually a really great point that you raised, and now looking back upon it, yes, Mortis was definitely baiting out the gadgets. In fact, in one time that he dove in, he managed to bait out 2 gadgets from 2 enemy brawlers. It was 1 from a Gene and 1 from Sandy. Let's see what... Yeah, we'll see what Craze Clan is going to answer with this time, though. They got to get this set win. If they drop 1 game here, then it's going to be a Navi match point, and that is a stressful situation, especially for Craze Clan. Dara is waiting here, though, with the Sweet Dreams gadget. Now he's going to get the wall break on the right lane. That kind of gambling that Jason is going to walk onto the fire field and barely misses it. Unfortunate, though. Honestly, a pretty good prediction. Dara is still camping out at mid, waiting for his... I guess, gem mine issue. Gems, the ones that spawn on his side, trying to get the stun on Cube. Great offense there from Jason. We're going to see Navi and Crazy Clan practically tied up here.
Yeah, so talking about these comps here, I think it's a little bit surprising to not see a Gene on the side of Craze Clan. Gene, probably by far the best brawler here. And we're not going to see Terra from either team either. It's very odd, considering Terra, with those minions, can stop the Gene pulls, even Spike shots. But yeah, I think EECA definitely has an affinity for Spike. Never seen him this much, to be honest.
Yeah, it is kind of funny, isn't it? We don't usually see him this much, but I mean, hey, it's a welcome change for sure. I love seeing the boy Spike come out here, or well, I don't know if you want to call him a boy. He is Sakura Spike today, but Madara is gonna find some pressure at mid. Cube though gets that 10th gem spawn right in front of that hay bale, exactly where it is most accessible to him. Jason pretty vulnerable here though, does get hit by the super from Naui, and the life plant can't save him. It's all up to Naui, but there's just not enough time. He gets a double kill. And Navi, they're headed to match point actually.
Yeah, not what we expected. We expected this to be very, very close, but Craze Clan still has the chance to reverse sweep. Now, in that last game, we saw the Sandy being picked over a Gene in the mid, and I don't really like that idea, especially because Sandy will really struggle to get the super against all those brawlers. You saw Sandy didn't even have 1 super until Red Team was already on the countdown, in which it's way too late. You need Gene not so you can pull people, but you can threaten to pull people. And what that means is you need to charge your pull and sit on top of the gem mine or next to the gem mine. The opponent, knowing that you have a pull, is going to prevent them from grabbing gems. And pretty much, if you see a lot of the top games, Genes are going to be holding on to pulls for very, very long amounts of time, just trying to bait the others into grabbing gems or prevent them from grabbing gems as just a threat. And Spike on both sides is okay. I think Spike, you want to get a lot of value out of that little cactus guy, but against brawlers like Amber, who just pierce right through, it just doesn't feel very impactful, honestly. And other brawlers like Terra are also coming here, so let's see that, if that happens. We do have a Piper on the right side. Piper versus Amber is going to be a nice lane for Jason.
Yeah, well, let's see the wall peaks. Jason is trying to keep up that pressure, and we see Craze Clan, they're no longer running that Sandy funny business where they say, okay, well, we can get a stun at mid for free, right? We don't need to work for it like Gene. We're just going to go for the stun with Sandy's Sweet Dreams gadget. Madara, though, is going to have a tough time. We saw Naui get pinched colossally by Cube and Jason. And honestly, this is a pretty, high skill technique to go for the pinch, just go for the 2v1. It seems pretty simple, but you'd be surprised to see how hard it can be to pull off sometimes, as you do risk having an enemy push up on a different lane if you take your focus off of them. And we might see that on the left lane. Meow still trying to push up versus BBG's. Might get some pressure. He still does have that curveball to shoot around the edges. Does get hit by that fire fuel though, and is a 3v2.
Oh, wow.
Now a 2v2. Madara has the pull, and BBG's is out of commission. He's down for the count. Now he's gonna run away with these 2 gems. Narrowly avoids the homemade recipe. And now Madara is ready with the super. And Crazy Clan, they just need 1 more gem to keep themselves in it. Otherwise, it's a Navi match win.
Yeah. And Navi is looking to actually make a comeback here. They've got full control of this mid area, and Jason is going to be terrorizing the Amber on the right side. Without those bushes to hide in, it's going to be really easy. And wow, a great pull onto that spike to go 8 to 6 on the gems here. But there are 2 on the right, so Crazy Clan just needs to pick those up to take this victory. They do.
And we do see that countdown start. Navi, they are down 3 gems. They're not going to be able just to camp out at mid for this one, unless they got a gem hiding somewhere else. It's going to be a bit of a struggle. Jason needs to pop someone here, but now and Meow are hiding so far back, and BBG's isn't able to make it happen. 1 gem away. Navi, they were so close to tying things up there, but the timer just didn't allow. It's going to be Crazy Clan tying things up in set number 2, and Night, this is the definition of a reverse sweep if we can see it, that momentum continue to be on the side of Crazy Clan.
Yeah, I think the Piper pick is a okay idea. You're going to be able to win your lane against the Amber pretty easily at the beginning, but once the Amber starts burning away the bush, you lose the usage of the ambush star power. You're not going to be able to get that extra damage. But on the side of Piper, you want to use that super to break open all those walls that Amber can hide behind. There's the 2 walls on the right side, if you know what I'm talking about, and there's the one that the Amber uses to camp the super. If you can delete all of those walls, or the mid wall, Amber can't do anything. Piper can 2-tap Amber every single time. 1 regular shot, 1 homing shot, over and over. It'll be a spawn trap almost.
And spawn trap is definitely frustrating to deal with. It is also, pretty difficult to muster here on Double Swoosh. We'll see what our players got to bring out this time, though. Crazy Clan, they have to get the win here. Otherwise, Navi is going to be walking away with the win, and they'll be gracefully taking that stride into our next stage of the tournament bracket. See our comps here. It's looking more or less the same from Crazy Clan. Navi, they're switching things up, no longer going for that Piper. They got a spike on the right lane. Cube is doing much, much better than last time because he does have that appropriate lane support, though now it is threatening to deal with that as now he's pushing back Jason. Jason goes for some shots with the curveball, and it is actually quite successful so far. Jason, though, gonna go down to the burst from Naui and the crucial wall break, as Cube is going to be hard-pressed to find some bushes that he can camp in. He finds this one little strip of bushes, but that's all he's got for the entire rest of the game.
Yeah, and I want to point out the way that they're using these spike gadgets here, because those spikes on both sides, no, that's not going to do them any good against Amber, so they're going to drop them in the middle and let them help the Genes with their individual 1v1s. And you see both Genes are just hovering their super, reluctant to use it because they just want to threaten each other off the mine, as I was saying earlier. Yeah, BBGS finally going to throw a fire fuel on the middle area. That's the most important, knowing that the Gene can't hide, and Meow is going to get burned. That's not that good for Crazy Clan. Let's see how they grab these last few gems, though.
Well, there is the cactus, as you said it, from both teams. That big cactus is going to be helping out the Genes on their respective 1v1s. Meow is trying to get that curveball to hit it, but it narrowly misses. One of the perks of running Fertilize is you know exactly where it's going to go. He does pop that thing open, but his own gets popped open as well. Crazy Clan, they're not going to be able to grab this gem that was on their side, at least not yet. Cube is going to grab the 10th, and Crazy Clan got to move in to grab the next one. Madara is being threatened off of the gem, though. He doesn't really have anyone he can pull either. He's going to have to commit, and Cube is staying in a strong position to grab these. Now he goes down. Madara just needs 2 gems here. 1, 2, and the countdown is interrupted. Crazy Clan, they are still alive, and they're going to be claiming the countdown.
Yeah, they just stole that by 200 HP. Oh my goodness. I thought Navi had that all wrapped up.
Same,
great pull
actually.
from Madara.
Wow, yeah, and that was a great pull. Crazy Clan, though, they got the offense now, Knight.
Yeah, so you see this spike for super. It's not going to be used on the lanes. You never see it used on the lanes. It's always thrown in the mid. And what that does, it blocks off that choke point and doesn't allow the enemies to grab any gems here. And 2 gems do separate these 2 teams, but not anymore. Meow does get pulled. Navi going to be taking this match. Yeah, very dominant. Very, very dominant for Navi. Obviously the best in their region.
Yeah, I must admit, Navi, they're establishing their dominance. It is a little bit sad to see Crazy Clan going down so soon because they're one of the more realistic competitors for Navi. We saw them take a single game off of them, which is an achievement in and of itself. So well played by both teams, though only one can advance to the next stage of the tournament, and for now it's going to be Navi. We can also talk about some of the strategies that Navi used to break down Crazy Clan. Most important for me is probably the Poco pick, as well as the tank and the Mortis. Let's look at our bracket. We see Navi advancing, and we'll get into our next matches pretty soon, Knight.
Yeah, so next match is going to be with Pharmacy Centers and Typha Black. Not familiar with Typha Black, but we do know that Pharmacy Centers has had some appearances in the EU monthly finals. Definitely one of those underdog teams that we could see going further in the bracket and maybe even upsetting Navi.
Yeah, well, Pharmacy Centers, I mean, just by namesake, right, are sort of the expected winner in this situation, which, of course, makes Typha Black the underdog. So we'll go for this comparison and see what their bans are later on. That way we can kind of decide who is pretty confident going into this one. But that is your bracket for now. Pharmacy Centers and Typha Black. It's going to be coming up for match number 2. Let's get a look at our maps and modes that are going to be played in this epic showdown between Pharmacy Centers and Typha Black. Going to start things off on Hot Zone, then moving to Siege, and then Bounty. Any thoughts on these maps, Knight?
Yeah, so first map is Parallel Plays. This is a map where Gene is going to be one of the best brawlers here. Gene and Crow is a notoriously strong combo here. Just being able to slow people and pull them out of the zone can get you really easy offenses. And a brawler that I don't think people realize how good he is yet, but Buzz is going to be a monster on all of these maps. Parallel Plays, you can grapple all the way up to the right side and just grab control of the zone instantly. On Nuts and Bolts, you can grapple to the bolt. You can walk around, just use the Eyes Sharp star power to pretty much charge your super for free in maybe like 10 to 15 seconds actually. And on Canal Grande, Buzz also is a monster there. There's so much bush, there's so much wall. Yeah, I'm very excited to see the Dino. It's one of my favorite brawlers in competitive, just playing him recently. So let's see what the teams do with him. Or unless they take him out of the game, that would be unfortunate. But yeah, I'm curious.
It would be unfortunate from a spectator's perspective, but maybe for the sake of the sanity of the players, it would be a pretty solid choice to get rid of him there, right? So probably one of our more expected bans coming in here. Also, it's not like blind bans; it's A B. We got the bans coming in. Our ban phase is starting. We'll get a chance to look at what those brawlers are going to be. And we'll cross our fingers and see if one of those is going to be Buzz Knight. We're waiting for these to come in. We're definitely expecting... Oh, okay, well, took the words right out of my mouth. We got Stu to start things off. Bell could be waiting in the wings, perhaps, Knight.
There's Bell. Let's see Primo. Where's Primo? Oh, Gene. Gene gonna get banned. And Oh,
Barley
barley.
is our
That's not
what?
something you see every day. Barley is
Okay,
only good on nuts and bolts here.
so what you're saying, Knight, is we're gonna see Primo and we're gonna see Buzz, and it's just going to be absolute pandemonium across the map for every single one of these games.
Absolutely. These are going to be a very fun set of games, so make sure to watch all of them. A lot of people did see in the Queso Cup NA yesterday what a mess that was. We were seeing, you were casting that, of course, but
Yeah.
we saw Buzz, Primo, Mortis comps in Raw Ball. Like, what is going on? Even Tribe Gaming was using Primo and Dino. Tribe Gaming usually uses the most conservative comps in NA.
Yeah,
So, I mean,
it's
that's
kind
insane.
of shocking. Yeah, I mean they'll usually play something like, you know, control based where they play passive, and seeing them go aggressive is maybe sort of a strategy of, you know, oh, the enemy's totally not going to expect us to play aggressive, but it's really more of like, oh, okay, this is our only option. Let's see if we can pull it off. The Pharmacy Centers, they're not messing with any of that Buzz business. It would be easy capture on the back right lane, but they're going to be going for the Jesse mid and the Colonel Ruffs on the left lane. Also using field promotion to power up back over time. Dark Angel is going to be the one to look for control on the right lane versus Joaquin, and he also has that power up ready to go. There's the hedge, but Dark Angel doesn't stop firing. Firing with literal fire.
Goodness.
Mr. Eric, yeesh, absolute domination on the right lane.
Wow. Just being able to take that right zone so quickly in a match, or even get any percent on it, that's almost unseen. Most matches are like a 50-50, and then somebody just goes on the offense and gets like 2% at a time. But yeah, 10% out of nowhere is going to be huge.
Yeah, and I would say, honestly, like, Joaquin could have positioned the hedge just a little bit better, right? Dark Angel was able to get through that one. Dark Angel got bumped forward by the hedge rather than held back, and it just snowballed into complete control for Pharmacy Centers. We'll see how they keep this one up. Blazy is going to try and push up around the left side and get on the enemy point. It's going to have quite a bit of trouble thanks to the Jesse turret that is constantly getting healed up. There's the powered up Dark Angel getting some good damage on Joaquin. More and more percentage racked up by Pharmacy Centers, and it's kind of looking like Typha Black is not going to be able to bring this one back.
Yeah, this looks like game over. I don't think Typha Black can push into the zone, especially with 2 power-ups from the side of Pharmacy Centers. Oh, 3 actually. But yeah, it's not possible here. And looking at the comps again, I think it's interesting to see how different regions respond to Primo and Buzz. NA, we know NA is a region that is not afraid to just go absolutely nuts with comps. But EU is definitely one of the more conservative regions, even with these big funny brawlers open. They're going to opt to actually just play control a lot of the time, which I'm not 100% sure is the right decision. But, I mean, hey, if you want to play the safe game, we're here to watch it anyway.
Yeah, some people are here for the glory, others are here for the fame and making a name for themselves, and I don't know, maybe playing the tank comp, playing a L funny brawler is a little bit below them, or, you know, they don't want to stoop to that level. They want to show what they're made of with the normal meta. We got Dark Angel on something, I wouldn't say off meta. It is definitely a respectable pick here. It's more going for the aggression, though. Honestly, Buzz could fulfill a similar role. I'm not going to see Buzz, though. It's going to be a Mort game. Pharmacy Centers barely in the lead here. Warm Z struggling to get on his own point. Does plop down that power up right next to Joaquin. And Whams still trying to make this happen.
Yeah, so we got early buffs on the side of Pharmacy Centers for the Jesse, and dying when you have that Ruff's field promotion is really, really, really bad. It's going to complete discrepancies between the two Jessies. Look how much health Beck has compared to Blazy on the other side, and it's just impossible to win that 1v1 matchup for the Jesse in the future. And yeah, so quickly to win this match. Mortis is going to take the zone very easily as well. He does pretty similar to Buzz, actually. Just being able to grapple up or dash up to the zone and sit in it before they can even get over to defend is a strong strategy here. And yeah, glad to see Mortis is picked today. Always one of the funnier brawlers. But we have to see how
Yeah.
Typha Black is going to respond to that. I mean, that was a crushing victory for Pharmacy Centers there. And Typha Black needs to swing the momentum back in their favor and reverse sweep here. But Pharmacy Centers is looking like they're just going to take this match.
Yeah, admittedly, it could be even more crushing. We'll be moving into nuts and bolts for our next, could be 2 games. It also depends as well on what sort of sieges we have here, right? We have Frank waiting in the wings. So Frank might be a bit of a risky one, considering that El Primo is a possibility. And El Primo's had his ups and downs in the meta, but one thing has always remained constant, and that is that he pretty much hard counters Frank. If you're Primo, then it seems magnetically attracted to any enemy Frank on the field because he's just a big fat super battery, and now Primo's just this self-charging battery. It's going to be even harder for Frank to prevail here on nuts and bolts. So we could see it. We probably won't. We also have the Barley ban, and that is going to have an impact here on nuts and bolts. Probably not going to see any brawlers that would be a response to a thrower. Or perhaps not.
Hey,
Whams is going to run the Dyna on the left lane. And Mr. Eric is running the Sprout mid. Sprout mid I can definitely get behind, right? You have possibility of the Yoshi wall. But besides that, I mean, this is funny to see the Dyna.
And this comp makes a lot of sense. At first glance, the comp from Pharmacy Centers might look a little bit strange. But keep in mind Barley is banned. So Dynamite is going to be one of the better throwers here. And when you have a Carl in your comp, you typically want to grab that first bolt and win the first siege. Dynamite is a brawler who can easily one push. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Well, Barley's pretty good at that, but Dyna can be even more terrifying when it connects with your Ike.
Yeah, this is definitely not surprising at all because the idea with their comp is to win the first siege. They don't want to have to play defense. They don't want to have to play for control. They just want to go in with Carl, grab the first bolt, and just crush them on the first attack. Carl does a good amount of damage to safe, but it's really Dynamite that matters because Dynamite with the satchel charge, that stuns the Ike. Stunning the Ike is so important. And being able to just rain down shots on the Ike while it's stunned, it'll be a crushing defeat for any team when you got a Dynamite on your base.
Yeah, he's also one of those brawlers that can get pretty good defense just by virtue of having high damage output because he's able to, as you said, stun, right? Maybe you're not stunning the Ike, you're stunning the bot. Oh, dear. Knight, it's a funny comp once again for BC Centers. They're bringing out the Frank as if the Dyna wasn't stylish enough to pull off that one push. They need the Frank here for the super. Though Mr. Eric is going to be able to stun him out of the super. And that is one of the benefits of playing Sprout is that your stun is able to get rid of Frank. Back, though, does have the super ready to go. Mr. Eric's looking for that super. He is going to be able to charge it up, and he's going to be saving it for Back. We'll see if Back is able to... Actually, yes, able to get it. And
the Sprout wall got deleted.
Yeah, he just deleted the Sprout wall. What am I watching?
That's a one push. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. What is happening?
Wait, so you're telling me that there's
comp,
supposed to be a Sprout wall?
Yeah, it just disappeared. I don't know how that interaction works. Usually the Sprout super interrupts the Frank stun even if he uses the gadget. So I'm not sure how that played out, but hey, it works for the Frank.
Yeah, you know what I think might have happened is he threw down the super and it was, just a little cross super, like the smallest one or the one that throws when you throw it out into the open, and Frank was standing right in the cross. We could roll back the footage later, but I mean, that's I think, pretty fair prediction as to what actually happened. So very well played there. We are going to see that W go the way of our home team. So congratulations to both teams on a stellar performance today. I think we pretty soon are going to be seeing what our other matchups of the day are. But one thing is for sure, and that is that Navi is going to have a worthy opponent, I believe, in the next stage of our tournament.
Yeah. And one more thing to add. I mean, that comp with the Mortis and the Buzz, you can actually grab the bull with Morse and get into the other lane with Buzz, or vice versa. You can get control of the whole map so easily. Just 2 brawlers there before anyone else is a great advantage to have. It's kind of like when we saw the Gale gadgets being able to push everyone to the map just at the beginning. But yeah, we are now going to a 5-minute break, and don't go anywhere, but grab your popcorn and we'll see you right back.
Welcome back, everyone, to Trovo Titans. Hope you had an excellent break. Hope you got the chance to catch your breath as well. I most certainly needed to, because those were some pretty fire first matches. And honestly, Knight, I think we could even see some closer ones as well coming up in the next 2 games.
Yeah, for sure. So we got some more great teams coming up and trying to make a name for themselves. A lot of top teams already in the round of 8. We got Pharmacy Centers and Navi. So let's see who else will join them. It will be either Tritium Esports or Genius Gene. Not familiar with these teams here.
I've seen Genius Gene a little bit. Honestly,
that's a funny name.
I think. Yeah, it is. It is definitely an entertaining name. It's such a meme, right? It makes me think back to the World Finals in 2020, where we saw Woody say that INTZ, they played Genius as Gene, and they played Penny, but she was worth $1. I don't think we'll see Penny play here, but I wouldn't be too shocked to see the Gene Knight.
Absolutely. So Gene, let's see if they actually pull out the Gene, or if the enemies say no and just put it a ban.
Well, before we get into the bans, we are going to be looking at the maps and the modes to start us off. Of course, we are still in the, I guess you could call them, well, what do you even call the round before the quarterfinals? I guess round of 16. We got 3 sets to start things off here. We'll unlock those later sets, well, later on. Some assembly required, Split, and Kaboom Canyon to lead us through this best of 3. These are some actual pretty fire maps, and I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, absolutely. Some assembly required and Split, 2 of my personal favorite maps. So many weird comps can be played, and yeah, I'm very excited to see it. On some assembly required, it's probably going to play out the exact same as Nuts and Bolts as we saw there. There is one key difference though. Sprout is not as viable because he doesn't have a middle bush to sit in, and because there's no water next to the Ike, you actually can't use those Sprout walls as effectively in defense. So yeah, other than Sprout, the map is pretty much the exact same. So we'll see how the teams select their bans for these maps, but as again, same bans probably apply to all these maps. All right, let's take a look at the bans though. Probably going to see Stu banned, probably going to see Primo banned, but Belle, maybe not. She's not that strong on these maps in my opinion. Stu, going in.
Let's go, leading us in with Stu. Yeah, I think it depends on whether we're worried about Kaboom Canyon, the strength of Belle there. And honestly, you know, she's pretty good at keeping some long-range control, but she's not like just absolutely unstoppable. Tritium Esports really taking some notes from the name of their enemy. We got the El Primo also, and Poco banned out by Genius Gene. None of that Poco double tanks funny business, though. I don't know if these are maps where Poco would be played too much.
Absolutely. Poco is alright on splits, but on the other maps, I think it's an insta-loss if you pick him. Belle, we're not going to see her banned because it wouldn't make that much sense to ban Belle on some assembly required or split, throw heavy maps. Primo is probably the strongest brawler on split and some assembly required. So seeing him out will introduce a lot of other options like throwers, which are also bad against Stu's breakthrough gadget. So yeah, throwers are going to be viable on all of these matches. And we will hopefully see the Dino and maybe even some Mortis in that first some assembly required. I mean, Dino, when I did some testing with my team, we found out that the Buzz and the Carl actually get to the ball at almost the exact same time. So I'm curious to see how those interactions work out. But yeah, the spawns will ruin that sometimes.
Yeah,
it's surprising. You would think Buzz gets faster.
Yeah, I would think so too. It seems like he propels himself forward so quickly, but I mean, Carl literally goes forward with his gadget, right? And then Buzz, you gotta wait a little bit for your super to, I guess, make landfall, and then you get jerked forward. So he does get really great mobility on the movement, but the lead up, I guess, is what kind of sets him back. So Buzz absolutely going to be viable here, but really only as viable for mobility as Carl. Though I think there's a pretty good chance that we do see the Buzz headed into this one. We could also see a little bit of thrower action. We have the Primo banned out, which might tell me that we could see some not Poco, but some Frank action in here. Poco obviously banned out. We're not going to see the Poco and Frank combined, but Frank is possible. I would definitely not be too surprised to see him on split combined with the Gale for that epic cheese comp.
Yeah, so Frank is going to be an alright option with Primo ban, but you have to keep in mind that Buzz is open. Buzz can stun and can walk around a Frank while he's doing a super. It's really not very easy to deal with the Buzz at all. Brawlers who get really close to a Frank are going to be able to delete him no matter how much health he has. And yeah, Buzz can stun him so many times that even when you have the noise canceling gadget, which takes away the stun, you only have 3 shots of it. And the Buzz just being able to chain super so quickly, it doesn't do anything for you, honestly.
Yeah, it is a struggle. Frank he just kind of gets like battered and bruised and tossed around by pretty much any close range brawler. And it is unfortunate because we do love to see the big man, though perhaps not on Siege, where he gets that one push and just completely powers through the pace of the game. But I mean, this is one that I am looking forward to without a doubt. I want to see what we are doing in the absence of a Primo, but also the absence of a Poco.
Yeah, let's go into the first game. We do have a Carl to grab that bolt on the right side, Barley as well, and Ricos from both sides. Carl does get taken out though quite quickly.
Yeah, Gun in M is going to take a little bit of damage, heals himself up with that herbal tonic, but he's still not able to push into mid here. Genius Gene holding him back. It is going to be a tie for the first Siege, though. I don't know about you, Knight, but it looked to me like Genius Gene, they had pretty much complete lockdown of control of mid for the first pitch, and they're just going to be farming up an even stronger bot for the second Siege.
Absolutely. Well, you do see Sandy pick. Sandy was actually countered by Carl before, but now Sandy actually does counter Carl with that Sleepy Dreams gadget or whatever it's called. It does stop the Carl super, and it can also stop a Carl in mid dash. So let's see how they make that use. But a Sandy super does go up on the left side. That's going to be trouble because the Barley can't really scout the bush that well. But it's interesting to see Rico so much on this map. One of the things I've always said is Rico is a great brawler against everything but throwers. But seeing as throwers are the most common thing on this map, it makes so little sense to use Rico. But yeah, I guess teams really like it. Who knows? They are going to be having a massive push here, though.
Colossal push, too. Alex is going to be able to get that super off and loads of damage onto the save, 47%. Though I will hand it to Tristeam Esports, though. It was a pretty good defense, considering that Genius Gene were all the way up on that safe, and Tristeam Esports, they had a pretty tough defense. So kudos to them, and they are up 4 bolts. Now just 3. Genius Gene continuing to lock down control over here. Thor is trying to get this next one, but Rotislav is going to be putting a stop to that. Just a few seconds left, and Genius Gene, they got this final bot. It's game number 1.
Yeah, that's going to be game number 1, no problem. I think Genius Gene could have gone for a 1 push on that previous siege if they went all in, but seeing as they were only at a 4-bolt deficit with the ability to keep the control, they just thought, hey, that's the better idea because it's more conservative. We can guarantee this win instead of leave the bot at 5% and then we lose because they 1-push us.
Yeah, I mean, unlike when we watched Pharmacy Senders earlier, it was not just like completely one-sided here, right? I would definitely say a worthy effort, though this was definitely like a Genius Gene bit of a struggle here. So we'll see. Tristeam Esports, they're on the back foot now. Genius Gene just 1 game away from taking the W here, and some assembly required and sending us into our next set, though. I will say, it looked like Genius Gene was in control for most of the time, and Tristeam Esports, they're going to have to pull out some sort of a different composition, especially when they were playing into something that, should not have given them as much trouble. I was mostly looking at the Rico, giving them trouble for the entire game, and, with their throwers, it should not have been as decisive.
Yeah, and Carl now is a really great counter to Rico because before Rico has the multi-ball launcher gadget, he can just do a big burst damage to you when you're on top of him with the Carl spin. But now, not having that, it's going to make him a lot weaker against those tanks, similar to how Spike's new gadget has put the other one out of use. Yeah, Rico, I'm very surprised to see that giving them a lot of trouble. Barley is just so good against him. You can kill him like 2 or 3 shots. There shouldn't be anything the Rico can do against you. And we also saw a big mistake at the beginning of the game from Tritium Esports. They went with the Carl pick, but they didn't get the first siege, and now that's a really big problem because the only reason you bring Carl is to get that first siege because of Barley and Rico do tons of damage to an Ike.
Yeah, I completely agree, right? Barley, Rico, all over the safe, or Ike, whatever you want to call it. Whatever you kids these days call it. I'm pretty sure Knight has been playing the game for longer than me, though. But Rico does have that super that's able to make contact with the Ike from such a long distance. And yeah, he's going to be great for laying damage into it, especially when there are no enemies in the way, like we saw. Tritium Esports bringing out the Sprout this time, and this is one that we said we were a little bit cautious of tonight. When we see Gun already getting taken down, Stop Rob shutting things down. Neither team is using the Carl this time, and it's clear that neither of them really needed it, though perhaps Tristan needed a little bit more than Genius Gene. It's going to be the level 2 siege by going to Genius Gene. Gun M is now going to find maybe some opportunities to get some damage on the right lane, though he's going to have to find this opportunity to deal a lot of damage to that bot.
I think this is very interesting from the side of Tritium Esports. They're not doing this well at all. Genius Gene had a Sandy against 2 throwers, and I think it was a Rico. And Sandy should not be able to get super whatsoever, but they were able to get it before that first bot. That's very odd to me. And you also see the Sprout, which I do like that pick. Sprout against Rico is probably one of the easiest matchups you could possibly have. And yeah, in a comp perspective, Tritium Esports has the upper hand here. So it's interesting to see how Genius Gene is fighting against that.
Yeah, well, we do see Tritium Esports finally getting that siege bot, and I will say, just for a moment, I completely agree with you on the Rico and Sprout thing. I remember when Sprout first came out, you could just delete a Rico right as they spawned. It'd be Brawl Ball and you just delete them right as they spawn because you 3-shot them. And it's still the case, right? You 3-shot a Rico and you get loads of damage on them. It's going to be a little bit tougher to hit them with the presence of Robo Retreat. Gunham is going to go down to stop Rob.
This is looking good.
Tritium Esports. Yeah, they might actually have this last one.
Yeah, but keep in mind, 2% on the base. Barley super, Rico super, even a Sandy's Rude Sand.
No way.
Said, that's gonna take the save.
No way.
Yeah, that's
you
it.
Lie. Oh my gosh. I mean, I'll applaud you right there for making that call, right? Because yeah, that takes quite a bit of knowledge to know how much damage that's gonna do. I never found myself counting up the damage that Rude Sands was gonna do to the Ike, but that was pretty funny to watch. I've never seen that happen before, but first time for everything. Genius Gene, their first time so far in the tournament, taking the W, and we're gonna see our scoreline go to 0-1. We'll be heading into hot zone, and Genius Gene will have the lead.
Yeah, so Sandy, it does do around 2.6% damage. I know this because I was doing a challenge on my Twitch channel where we were trying to win a siege game with only damage from the Rude Sands. So we were trying to tie all the bots, spawn trap them, and just Rude Sands on the base. It was fun.
Oh my gosh. Did it work though? That's the question, is did it work?
It did work. I think the challenge ended when we couldn't get it done with the loose supers, though. That didn't work. The Sandy supers were effective.
That's so funny. Yeah, I guess your next task is well, I don't even know at this point. Some other things that do very very little damage that you could use.
Piper gadget on a heist safe.
That just like
The
hurts. If
100
you had
damage.
infinite gadgets, if you had infinite gadgets, then you might be able to work with that. You could get like an M's infinite gadget or something like that to get down the safe. That would just be completely painful to play through, but it'd be so entertaining to watch. You know what else is entertaining to watch? Trovo Titans. Genius Gene, they're leading here. They're also bringing out that Buzz on the left lane, getting loads of damage. Roast the Slot now looking for the damage with his gun. Him already pulling out the silver bullet. Alex doesn't have the stun, but he does have the kill. Genius Gene trailing just a little bit, actually. Trissium bringing out the big man Frank.
Yep. You see a wall break, a partial wall break from Genius Gene. That's actually a nice play because you're going to open up those walls and actually let the Buzz grapple on some more people. Buzz is going to be a absolute hard counter to both the Frank and the BB. You see on the left side, look how easy that is. Just walk right on, right?
And well, you know who else gets to walk right on is Thor here on the big man. Though he's not going to have any supers to get himself all the way to that point. He's going to have to go the hard way. And the hard way is apparently, well, not a jump pad. Thor going to wait for this opportunity around the left side. Goes for the stun. Alex going to just walk around him. And this is exactly what you were saying, Knight. That Buzz is fast enough to simply walk around the Frank super. It is absolutely decisively in Genius Gene's bank now. They're on match point.
Yeah, look at that. I mean, that's utter destruction. Buzz is such a tank counter to Frank and BB. BB being stunned doesn't allow her to get that big bat off before she's dead. Frank, on the other hand, we already talked about that earlier. But some ways to counter Buzz can be like Jackie or Primo, which is banned. But yeah, Jackie does do a great job against Buzz. So let's see if any team pulls that out. But it's interesting to see, especially Gale does take a Buzz very well. You can actually just blow the Buzz completely out of his grapple, and he won't even get to you. But yeah, I'm not sure why that tactic wasn't used more often. Maybe they are not sure about it. It's a new brawler, of course. But yeah, Genius Gene looking to definitely take this one in a dominant fashion.
Yeah, Trissium Esports, they can still kind of bring it back, right? But they need a couple of wins in a row, and I'm sorry, but they have gone down 3 times in a row. And they could bring the momentum back, but they're really going to have to reset, dig deep, and bring out some good stuff to deal with the presence or possible presence of a Buzz here. As you said, Jackie is pretty nifty for dealing with him. He's really good for busting open tanks, and Jackie with Counter Crush would, be able to do a number on him. And I think it's interesting also to see Counter Crush kind of coming back as Buzz has gotten more and more powerful as time progresses. Let's see what Trissium Esports has to say, though. They're still bringing out the exact same stuff. And Genius Gene, they're running the triple throwers.
Yeah, Genius Gene has no intentions of winning this game. They're going for a funny comp. They know they've already got this. But let's see. Usually when the troll comps come out, the match is almost over. But if Trissium Esports can make a reverse sweep, that will be something very funny to see.
Oh, it would be even funnier than the funny comp itself. I mean, Genius Gene definitely trying to show off here. Honestly, I'll hand it to them, right? They're facing 2 tanks, and they're doing a lot of damage, but they're not getting any kills. They're not really getting much capture either. Thor does go down, and we're going to see one of the first kills on Trissium Esports of the game. But, man, it just doesn't even need explaining. Yeah, it's not even close. Genius Gene, they'll be going to a 1-1 set. And this is a funny set, I will say that much.
Oh my goodness. I mean, as soon as I saw those comps, what is a thrower going to do to a Frank? Honestly. You can shoot at a Frank all day long and you're not going to get him down. BB with the shield, same story. You're not going to kill any of them. They can just sit there in the zone. They don't even have to attack you. They'll win the game. But yeah, that's just crazy from Trissium Esports.
Well, I got a new challenge for you, Knight. You just have to kill a Frank as Tick. That's all you got to do is lane against a Frank solo. 1v1 Frank versus Tick. And yeah, I'm pretty sure you will die of old age before you're able to make that happen. It's just kind of one of those impossible things that, well, honestly, I say it's impossible. I feel like that's all the more motivation for Knight to give it a shot.
Absolutely. But if you think Tick against Frank is bad, it's actually worse than you think. The head first from Tick, usually you would use the head first to knock a brawler into more of the mines, but Frank can simply pop the gadget and not even get knocked back by the head first. Just eat the 2800 damage. That doesn't even matter. And if you think Tick is bad, then there's Sprout. Sprout does 1372 damage. That you can't even do enough damage before the Frank heals back up. It's not happening.
Ouch, dude. I had never even considered that. Yeesh. Well, that is one where you'll die of old age, right? That is just like absolutely impossible. Though, let's see if it's possible for Tristium Esports to come back here. They got a much different comp this time. Genius Gene, though, they're really switching things up too. Rostislav is switching onto that Surge, so is Gunnin. Stop Rob over here on the Colt, breaking open all these walls. Alex trying to make it happen. Gunnin is playing the counter, so he could get the defense, and he does actually get the kill on Alex. Looking pretty good so far for Genius Gene, but Tristium Esports is still alive and they're still kicking.
Yeah, this left side is just an absolute mismatch. Surge versus a Buzz is so bad for the Buzz. It's impossible, I would say, actually. You can't even get on him. So how will you kill him as a melee brawler? But GSG is making the adjustment, goes on the right side. Tick and Rico are easy matchups, so you see him taking massive advantage of that. And this is pretty much GG. They've got both zones under control.
Yeah, well, Genius Gene, I guess if you abbreviate it, becomes GG, but Tristium Esports are not ready for the GG just yet. Alex is going to get bumped back a little bit. Eyeshadow does get taken down. Thor is the next challenger for Stop Rob, and he will get that remaining capture, and he does get the kill on Stop Rob, but, I mean, Knight, it's already over. It is a GG, or Genius Gene, if you want to expand it just a little bit. Congrats to Genius Gene on the W. They'll be heading up to the next stage of the tournament. They're going to the round of 8.
Yeah, and that was such a dominant performance. I mean, if you're already running troll comps, those teams know who's better. They're both fully aware of the situation, and Genius Gene knows that they're going to have no issues with that. And even that last match was very dominant. Buzz, even going into the Surge, they made the right call. They made that lane switch. And once they made the lane switch.
All right. Yeah. Well, we are going to get the chance now to take a look at our updated bracket. Genius Gene has advanced to the round of 8. Let's take a look at our players. F.A. Gypsy. Unfortunate, actually. Looks like F.A. Gypsy straight up went 0-2 versus Esport Empire. So the matchup we're going to see in the round of 8 is going to be Genius Gene versus Esport Empire, which, of course, it takes us to the right side of the bracket. We're going to see Schalke Tomato versus Pegepes coming up pretty soon. Unima Gaming, we've also seen some pretty good stuff from. Crystal Gaming, Red Point Gaming, Azorb, Walkit, Romania are our upcoming matches in the round of 16.
Yeah, we got Unima Gaming on that right bracket. Unima Gaming is a very, very good team from EU. They're in the Queso Cup Division 2. I'd say an underdog. I mean, those teams really came out of nowhere in the Queso Cup and just dominated throughout an entire season and almost made some monthly finals as well. Definitely a team to watch out for in this competition.
Yeah, and making the monthly finals is definitely something commendable in EU, especially when it's such a competitive region. Schalke Tomato and Pegepes are coming up soon. Let's take a look at our map and mode for our upcoming match. We're going to start things off on Hard Rock Mine, then fly right through into Triple Dribble, and then set 3 will be a hot potato if we even make it there. If we see a closer matchup, hot potato is entirely possible, but I'm liking it set number 1 and 2, so I'm not really complaining if it only goes through set number 1 and set number 2.
And yeah, we got Hard Rock Mine first up. That's one of the classic maps of all time. Those brawlers there are probably gonna be Piper, Bell in the mid, maybe even a Gene. NA definitely prefers Piper all over the mid, but in LATAM South and EU, some other regions, they definitely do prefer the Jean. But yes, let's see what these individual teams go with or what they ban. If Belle is not banned, then she will certainly be the go-to mid here. No doubt about it. She is so good at controlling a long range. Those bounce shots are going to help find enemies in the bush as well. So maybe we'll see that. And Stu is a great pick here as well. When we saw Sprout previously, was actually had at a spurt in the meta where he was really OP here because he countered Ruffs. Ruffs was good with Jean, obviously. But yeah, Sprout is not good anymore with the Stu in play because he can just break through the walls. And once you dash onto a Sprout, same with Mortis, it's over. I mean, hitting shots with Sprout at close range, no, you can't.
Yeah, and of course, Belle, right, we were talking about how powerful she is on mid. She also has those gadgets that are able to almost get you a guaranteed kill if at that mid fight, if you're able to keep up the mid fight for a while. Slows down your enemy so much and does a tiny bit of damage, but sometimes we see people fall as well to those really sneaky bear traps. Let's take a look as our ban phase is getting underway. Bans rolling out. What are we feeling tonight? We said Stu, Belle, definitely in the realm of possibilities. Primo, might not see him in these games, but still a powerful brawler, just like Buzz.
Stu is always first, it looks like.
Well, I wonder why they're so eager to ban Stu. And Rosa is going to be the ban from Pigepis as well, which is an interesting one. You could just play Rico, but maybe they just don't want to play Rico. Oh, Primo's going to be the ban from Shakute Meto. Who's skipping the last one? Buzz.
Oh, and Belle is open for the first time today.
Oh boy. So we're going to see a Belle 1v1 at mid, and perhaps some Rico lane on the right, and no tanks. Because, well, Rosa has been banned out, so she's not going to be present on Hard Rock Mine, and I'd say it's, pretty slim chance that she shows up, well, yeah, in the presence of a Rico.
Yeah, a little bit of a niche ban. They might be expecting that from the other team. Maybe it's something they run commonly on Hard Rock Mine. But with 3 tanks banned, 3 of the main tanks banned, we could see a lot of Sprout, actually. Sprout is a brawler that can absolutely dominate without aggro brawlers in the field. Can do great against Ruffs, do great against Belle. So maybe we'll see the little grass man come into play here. On the other hand, we're definitely going to see Belle in the mid. I think if there's no Belle in the mid, you just lose. It's very hard to win a lane.
Yeah, pretty much. It's going to be very difficult. Maybe we see like a Piper response on a Belle, but Piper's kit is kind of lacking compared to Belle's, right? Like Piper, you're not going to find a better long range duelist than Piper, right? Case closed. But you're definitely going to be able to find better mid brawlers, better gym carrier brawlers, and better supports than Piper. And wow, okay, it looks like Belle actually fits every single one of those descriptions, right? She's able to get the control with the bear trap. She's able to help out her teammates on lane pretty easily with the reflected shots. She's able to check the bushes, and Hard Rock Mine, the wall break isn't very important. So it is going to be a Belle's world, and whoever doesn't play her is pretty much slated to lose. But, I mean, what happens if we don't see the Belle from either team tonight?
Yeah, if we don't see a Belle from either team, I'll be very surprised. But if they were already making it into this tournament, I'm fairly sure they do know that Belle is a good brawler. Yeah, you only have to watch one Kairos time video to know that, in my opinion. But yeah.
Watching the Kairos time video for the tier list and going down the tier list to decide my picks for competitive or the power play guide, or I don't know what is going on these days. But yes, one Kairos video, one video from really anyone, or just living anywhere with access to the internet, you're gonna know that Belle is the pretty much go-to pick here. And honestly, I don't know what you're doing playing Brawl if you don't live somewhere with internet. But regardless, it is going to be a Belle's world. On the lanes, though, we're probably going to see some Ruffs, probably going to see some Rico action as well. Maybe we see the Rico sort of, subbed in and out for Colonel Ruffs. And on the left lane, what are we thinking in terms of possibilities?
So Rico is fine on the is he's usually you run on the right lane, but it's fine on the left. But I think Rico might be a little bit of a dubious pick here because what he does is counter tanks. You can counter a Primo with the speed. You're low health, you just run away. They can't catch you. Rosa, you win that. Buzz, you can do all right. But I mean, really, Rico does is there for the tanks. Without tanks in play, maybe Rico's not the best option. He does get countered pretty easily by Sprout. Sprout is versus the Rico is nearly impossible for the Rico. It's just a free lane. And yeah, I think Sprout has to be the most dominant brawler here. If we don't see Sprout, I'm just going to be shocked. But you could
Yeah.
also see some brawlers like Surge, maybe. I'm not sure. Surge is all right here.
Yeah, now that you mention it, yeah, Sprout would totally make sense, right? Super that can block out mid and can block Bell, get you a little bit more room to work with, perhaps an opportunity to run up and grab some gems, as well as you said, just getting so much domination on Rico on that lane matchup. So once we get into our match, we will see what exactly the situation is in terms of the brawler picks. Though I will say the players are definitely taking their time. Perhaps they're being very cautious about what their picks are, and trying to get in the enemy's heads as well, and see exactly what they're thinking about.
Yeah, but I think at the end of the day, they're just going to run some normal comps. But I'm not opposed to seeing some crazy comps. Mortis is definitely an option. He counters Bell and Sprout pretty well. So you probably want to bring a Bell Sprout plus one counter for that if you know that's in the realm of possibility for the opponent. I mean, these guys are all in the same region. They should know each other. I'm not familiar with what they're playing. But yeah, if one team is partial to Mortis, then you might want to bring a Surge to deal with him relatively easily. But yeah, let's see what they picked. We do have Bell from only one team. That's not what we were expecting.
Oh boy. Well, it's looking like a decisive win for Schalke Timeto, but Pigepis, it seems like they got a lot of fans in chat, so they definitely got some tricks up their sleeves. Morosi is going to get pinched so hard though, and I guess you could call it the left lane, depending on what your perspective is, but this little rectangle of obstacles up on the right side of Hard Rock Mine is pretty much pinch central. You're going to get pinched here a lot by right lane in mid. It's happening to Morosi, and he's playing a little, or Morsi, he's definitely getting a little bit more defensive here. Niklas also backing up. He has the super ready to go, but Schalke Timeto, ouch. They are getting so many gems and haven't allowed a single one to go the way of Big Ipis.
Yeah. So we saw this Sandy pick, which is doing so good against Terra. Terra's alright. She blocks the single target brawler, so I see that it being a good pick. But Sandy just completely counters his kids. Look at that. Gone. And Niklas going to try to pick up some gems here. But one of the interesting things I've seen here, look at the middle. I mean, the Bell hasn't used the gadgets.
Yeah, that's pretty shocking. I wonder why, because, she's pretty good. Oh, okay. Well, I guess a defensive measure is always called for. Schalke Timeto getting pushed back pretty far. There are the reflected shots from Morsi, and it's going to be the comeback, but here comes Sergo trying to keep the defense. Morsi is going to keep himself alive with the bouncy castle, but just for a little bit. Niklas now trying to push around these, but walks right into a world of pain. There's a massive, nope, not a massive pull from Big Epis. It is a decisive win for Schalke Timeto.
Yeah, just look at those bell traps being used there for absolutely no reason. Putting just 3 of those bell traps in the middle stops people from grabbing the gems. I mean, if you step on the gem, you're just dead.
Pretty much,
I don't know.
you're a dead man, right? If you step on one of those traps, not because it deals a lot of damage, not because it's like a one shot, but because it slows you down so much. It makes you an absolute sitting duck there at mid. But that is going to be game number 1 going to Schalke Timeto. Though Pigepis almost got like a really, really good comeback there. So I'd say it's absolutely possible that we see the comeback here. Just a little bit of a comp switch up. We got to see the bell. Oh my gosh. Please let us see a bell, and please let us see some bear traps at mid. That is going to be like the win condition here if only one team is putting down those bear traps at mid.
Yeah. One, yeah, clearly, the Shakutin meta team does not want anything to do with those bear traps. Says we don't need them. They're not going to get into this area anyway. Jean versus Abel is not even going to be up for discussion. And yeah, let's see how the Peggy Pest team decides to adjust their comp, because I'm not sure on what they'll do without a comp adjustment, a serious comp adjustment. I mean, you saw Bell outplays Jean, Sandy outplays Tara. It's just not good for them.
Yeah, it's not good for them at all. We just got to see the switch up. That is going to be the win condition here, is the comp, because we saw good gameplay from both sides. And honestly, I would say for the hand that they were dealt, Pigipis, they did pretty well, actually. We almost saw the comeback there right at the end, and it looked like Shakatameto was really having a struggle there with the defense. So I think that Pigepes are going to have a better time if they just come back and get a better grip on mid. Maybe, not as passive sort of gameplay as they did let every single one of those gems go to Shalkatemeto.
Yeah. So let's see how they go with this next match again. We didn't see Sprout picked at all, so that might be something we need to look out for.
Yeah, it's definitely something worth looking out for because it's so good at dealing with the Rico, and it's also great with dealing with any sort of mid that could be threatening your team. Maybe not so much Gene though, and I would say maybe Gene is something that was sort of an account for the possibility of a Sprout, but. And I know Gene Lane is sort of a debatable one, but that would honestly be a better place for Gene to be to deal with the Sprout than at mid to try and deal with a Bell all game. Schalke Meto, they're not playing the Bell this time. Pigipis,
No one's playing Bell. What is going on?
Yeah, no Bell. We have the Saloon 8 at mid. Nikolai's going to have some trouble here. Does get tapped 3 times by Nathan. He's basically a walk-in target. And Anto gets a win on the right lane. It's down to Nikolai to try and get this, but Nathan and Sergo are going to lay into him. Almost get that kill. Pigepis still trying to get some control.
Yeah, this is an absolute feast for Shaka Timetto. You just saw the 8-bit getting absolutely eaten at the beginning of the game. I mean, they go with the Terra pick again, which you saw how badly that did against the Sandy this game. This one is not going to be any different. And while I think the Piper pick from Nathan is actually fair, Piper can win against the Bell in the mid, while she can't hold control as well. 1 tap plus 1 gadget is all you need, actually. So I can see that being viable. 8-bit, though, knowing the opponent's going Bell, possibly, is terrible pick. I mean,
yeah.
8-bit, just the turret, and 8-bit will bounce back and forth and back and forth. I mean, that's horrible.
Yeah, and I mean, admittedly, Bell has gotten a bit of a nerf. It only bounces back and forth a few times, but still, like, your main asset as 8-bit is going to be one of your main downfalls if you get hit or your turret gets hit by a single shot there. It is, without a doubt, a victory for Schalke Timetto, and if we keep on seeing these kind of picks from Pigepes, ouch, just might be a set number 2 victory as well. Pretty soon we'll be moving into our next set as well to complete different map also. And that is where we have the chance to see the comeback. See, just one of those where a team can come back, but at the end of the day, it does come down to whether you're able to control around mid. And so far, Schalke Timetto has been really dominant on that control, though it has been long range. So that could change up as we move into Siege.
Yeah, so Siege is one of the best places for using Bell. I think, is it Factory Rush?
Oh boy.
If it's Factory Rush, I mean, Bell is so good there. If you don't have Bell there, I don't know what you're doing. I mean, Bell's tag on the bot is basically a death sentence for it. Just gets wrecked. 35% damage amplifier.
The 30% damage amplifier to get the solo defense on the bot is going to be absolutely crucial, right? Also, putting those bear traps around mid to slow down the enemy and get some kills for yourself and get better control on the bolts and where they're going to be spawning. And of course, you have other possible picks here, right? You could do like the Lu on lane. Of course, I would only be doing that if I were uncertain about the outcome of the match. If I were playing not to lose rather than playing to win. Also, if Bell were not a possibility. So Bell is absolutely going to have to be a go-to here. Whoever runs Bell is going to win the game. I don't really see many counters to her either that are even possible at all. So it is going to be a win condition if someone runs Bell.
Yeah, and let's see how the teams decide to pick up the bolts as well. We see many different options. Buzz is banned, but we do have Carl, we do have Mortis, all options that some teams do like to use to grab that first bolt and secure the first siege. But again, not grabbing that first bolt when you do have one of those brawlers is going to end in a certain defeat. We saw that earlier. Yeah, let's see how that plays out.
Yeah, well, any moment now we'll be moving into Siege, and we'll see exactly what those picks are. I would definitely be worried if I were Pigepis right now, because those have been some absolutely dominating defeats that they've suffered at the hands of Schalke Temeto 2-0 already in Gym Grab there on Hard Rock Mine. So we'll get into it. This is not looking like Siege. It's looking a little bit more like Triple Dribble, but surprises are always welcome. Schalke Temeto, they're bringing out the B on the left lane, which is totally sensible here. And Bell, I don't know if it would make as much sense. You could definitely deal with the B as Bell, but I think B might even be the better pick here.
Yeah, I really like what the Schalke Temeto team is going for. Their comp makes relatively more sense than Pegapest. Frank and Ems don't really synergize that well. Typically when you use a Frank, you want to have something like a Jean. Jean can almost carry a Frank because he can pull people towards him and then Frank can get a super. Ooh. But yeah, they do get a nice kill there. And they're going to be pushing up into the goal. John Pro is moving up, trying to get that super and allowing the Frank and Ems to sneak around and get some kills. But yeah, John Pro going to die holding the Sleepy Dreams gadget.
Ouch, what a unfortunate use of the gadget. It always hurts, but happens to the best of us. We see Schalke Temeto locking down control around the goal. Sergo going for the control. John Pro just a tap away from death. Falls to Sergo's mine until going to get the easy kill. Niklas, pops the gadget early, and Sergo is able to put this one in the goal. Pigepis, they're one goal away from defeat.
Absolutely. This is, oh man, doesn't even pop the noise canceling gadget. Frank Super doesn't get through. It's just not a very good comp from Pegapest against these brawlers such as a Rico, such as a Tick. You can't get around those walls like they can, so they're just hitting free shots on you. Frank on an open map against the B is absolutely hopeless. John Pro doesn't have the range either. None of them have the range to deal with these brawlers. And it's looking like a definitive win for Schalke Temeto. Just got to put this ball in the corner at this point.
Yeah, pretty much. All they got to do is keep the fight right here. Morsi is going to try and walk it across the field, but he's just feeding onto as a super. So does Sergo. There's the Tick super. Morsi isn't able to walk it across the field head first. Into the head first. And a goal for Anto. What? The trick shot didn't go in. But it's fine. Schalke Temeto, they've taken themselves to the match point, and they are looking like they are going to be headed to the next round of the tournament as well.
Yeah, maybe this will be our 5th sweep of the day. Let's see how it turns out. But by the pace of this game, I think it's going to be the same story. Yeah, but Pegapest needs to make a massive change to that comp. It's not doing it for them. Frank is just going to get eaten by the Rico.
Yeah, and I mean, a bit of a change to the comp and a bit of a change to the mechanics as well, right? Because we saw some opportunities to make use of like Sweet Dreams or make use of the noise canceling headphones to get rid of the head first, but it just wasn't employed, right? And we could have even seen like Frank, getting some good dodges in there, perhaps not combining the super with a lack of noise canceling as the Tick super is headed straight towards you, but We'll see if they change it up. Yes, fortunately they do, and it is looking a little bit better. Nicholas does go down kind of early, and Morrissey also falls with the use of the bouncy castle. Sergo, Nathan, Anto, they're all pushed up, baiting some attacks out of Nicholas. There's the super from Nathan. It doesn't go in. It's just John Pro. He's running Rattled Hive. Interesting. It's not terrible. Ooh, and Nicholas is... What?
Peggy Pass has already given up. They have no intentions of playing the rest of this match, it looks like. They are done.
Oh no.
They're done.
Wait, actually?
Yeah, they're done.
And Anto stylishly finishes things off with the, I guess the drill to the backside on the barrel. That is going to be the match. Unfortunate there for Pegafes, because it seems like they did have a lot of people cheering for them, and unfortunately they went down 4-0. Not without a fight, though, and even though they did have some comps that didn't synergize too well, it was all okay in the end. They will be going home with their dignity, evidently, because they just refused to lose right there, so they put down the game and just didn't even play. Can't lose if you don't play in the game, but that is going to be the end of that match. It's our, I guess, fourth to last match in the round of 16. We got 3 more to go as well. We are going to be going to a 5-minute break. Don't go away, of course, but do make sure you stand up, stretch, and catch your breath. We'll be back with you in 5 minutes.
Yep.
Welcome back, everyone, to Trovo Titans. Hope you had an excellent 5-minute break following. Whew, what a banger match there. I like the part where right at the end, the enemy team decided, yeah, no, we are not going to suffer a defeat like this, and just went completely T-pose idle. And then we saw the trick shot as well. Though nothing even close to that last match coming up. It's going to be Unima Gaming, actually, in our next match. And we're looking at one of the top teams in the region, actually. Of course, Unima Gaming versus 09 Gang Knight. It's going to be a banger.
Absolutely. Unima Gaming is the number 3 seed in EECA, actually. So they're definitely one of the top teams there and looking to win their entire side of the bracket on the right here. That's what they're here for. They're here to face off against Navi or Pharmacy Senders or any of those teams on the left. But it should be some more reasonable comps from the side of these two teams. And let's look at the maps and the modes that they'll be playing on.
Yeah, well, we got Ring of Fire to start things off, and this is one of those maps. If you see the bell ban, then it completely changes the play style. Factory Rush also is going to be our second set. In set number 3, whew, if we ever make it there, is going to be dry season. I think this is an 09 Gang struggle here because they are facing up against Unima, which is just such a tough team. Ring of Fire, though, we're going to be moving into that one pretty shortly for set number 1. And as I was saying at night, this is one of those where if Bell is banned, then it pretty much completely changes the meta into one that's unrecognizable compared to other sets.
Yeah, Bell is the most dominant brawler on all 3 of these maps almost. Maybe not dry season, but Factory Rush, Ring of Fire, you have to have Bell. That's your best option for mid. It just destroys everyone and everything. But with her banned, we might see some other options in the mid. We might see some Jean. We might see maybe some Lu on Factory Rush too for the defense. But we've seen different wall breaks actually coming out on Factory Rush to negotiate with the Lu super, just killing that bot. In NA, they seem to favor Brock more as the wall break, but in EU, it seems to be mostly Colt as your main wall break here. And both great options, able to use the Silver Bullet or the Rocket Fuel respectively, just to break through those walls. And yeah, let's look into this match and see what they've picked.
Yeah, well, okay. Crossing our fingers. Do we see the Bell bin? Please, 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 please. Otherwise, it's going to be Bell the entire time. And I don't think I can bear to see another lack of Bell gadget. Well, Jean, to start things off, it is kind of a game of chicken as well, because these are AB style bans. Jean, Stu are the bans so far. Do we see our Bell ban? Poco ban from Unima Gaming, and it's looking like 09 Gang is going to be forced to ban Bell, or do they choose something else? Well, there's the Bell ban. Whew. Okay, sheesh. So we see, I think, Lu pretty much every single game here on Ring of Fire.
Yeah, Lu is your main mid here. You can actually go with Lu, but some other options could be Jean. You could also go with B. But at the end of the day, Lu is going to be your main weapon here. Just able to control the solo zone with that massive super is going to be very overwhelming for either team to deal with. And yeah, whichever Lu gets the most supers gets the most percent, and whoever gets the most percent wins the game. So yeah, let's see how that plays out. The lanes, we're going to have more of Ruffs, the likes of Ruffs, because the boost for the Lu, your main brawler, that's who you want to be doing the damage. Getting that control. You want your Lu to win that mid matchup consistently and stand in that zone. So Ruffs on the sides, and with Ruffs, that's going to introduce some Penny. Penny's actually been sneaking her way into this map. Having a turret behind that right side wall, the L-shaped wall, going to be really, really hard to get the turret out unless you have a Jean pull or a Ruffs. Sometimes you even have to use a Ruffs supply drop to break the wall. You're not going to even get the boost. You're just going to have to use it to destroy the wall, or that Penny turret is going to make the game feel like a 4v3. And again, Penny's shots go right through the rough sandbags and just absolutely destroy it. So let's see what they go with. We do have a Piper and an Amber and a Lu. So yeah, that's interesting.
Okay, this is a very good call for Unima Gaming, in my opinion. They have the Lu on the lane, and they have Piper at mid to outrange a potential Lu. It's going to be a Piper and B matchup. Angel Tint's taking some major damage. Bogdan gets the kill, actually. Reyes, though, not slowing down just yet, goes for the fire fuel. The burn hits Bogdan, and O9 Gang are actually going to take the lead off the beginning of the game. We see a lot of counterplay here. We see the Piper here at mid to potentially get rid of an enemy Lu, but no Lu from O9 Gang. Reliable is sticking on the Lu, trying to get that first super off. And also, the Ruffs, as you said, it's going to be really, really good for absorbing the shots with the sandbags, and it's going to be making Angel Tint's job so much harder here. Gabby is going to be the one to pick up the 1v1 versus Angel Tint's. It's going to be an Amber 1v1 on the right lane, and Reliable trying to get rid of Lefrotic on the left lane. But those reflected shots are going to make Reliable's job a lot harder, and that 1v1 less, well, reliable.
Yeah, so let's look at the matchups, right? Because we got a Piper on the B in the mid. That's definitely a good matchup for the Piper. You're going to outrange, and you have the gadget to homing shot on the B. Looking at Unima Gaming's side, they make a great lane switch here. Lu on the Ruffs is just a lost cause. You can't shoot through those bags. Going on the right side versus the Amber is much, much better. And look, Reyes already winning this lane, no problem. And now they just got to get the mid back and stand in the zone. While the Piper pick is alright to deal with the long range, it's hard to actually stand in the zone with Piper, which is her main downfall.
Yeah, it is quite tough, and you know that's why Belle is one of the better options, is because she is able to throw down the bear trap. Obviously, banned out here. Gabby is going to be getting most of the mid control rather than like Reliable, which we would be expecting. Gabby just barely outranges Angel Tint, and it really seems to be hurting, especially with that first shot. There's the charged one, and Angel Tint goes down. Gabby stays alive. Reliable takes some major damage as well, and O9 Gang, they're even going to brave the storm. Go for the capture. Bogdan is going to be leading the charge. Does fall, but necessary sacrifice to keep the percentages rolling in for O9 Gang. It's looking like an O9 Gang win here.
Yeah, O9 gonna throw up all the emotes in the world, throwing the super out. They are feeling good. I mean, you go up against a team as good as Unima Gaming, and you have this dominant of a first victory. That's exactly the momentum an underdog team wants to have. Without Luke, that's shocking.
Yeah, I would feel pretty good too. And yes, they also managed to take down the Lu. So this is like insane, I think, to see already that the Lu is not going to be an adequate match. Though the thing that caught my eye really was the B versus Piper 1v1, which, you know, they have almost the same range. I think B barely outranges Piper by like the length of a B stinger, unless I missed some sort of like invisible B nerf. But her shot is a lot slower, and realistically, Piper should be able to juke it out or just dodge the shot. But no, that's not what happened at all. It seemed like B hit pretty much all of her shots on Piper. Piper just was not able to push up through mid, much less get a crucial kill onto B. And if we see that mechanic change up in our game, then yeah, we will probably see a different situation here. But otherwise, it is going to be an O9 Gang win.
Yeah, absolutely. So we have Lu not in the mid for either team. That's relatively unheard of on this map. Not sure what meta they are looking at. But yeah, Lu is usually so dominant in the middle, no matter against any brawler, because he's a little bit of a bigger boy. He's got 4480 health compared to a B or a Piper with only 3360. Makes it a lot more difficult to actually stand in the zone for a long period of time before you're just going to get taken out by the lanes or just a few shots from the mid, actually. Lu also does have the ice block gadget. It does have its uses against the Piper and the B shots, but most of the time it's just you die 1 second later.
Yeah, it's unfortunate to witness as well. So a comp switch up could maybe deal with that. I think a mirror match would also be more telling of who has the better mechanics, right? But I think honestly, O9 Gang, they did a pretty good job. So let's see how things change or don't change as we head into our next game. No changes from O9 Gang. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. We Unima Gaming, obviously something's broke, so they're switching out Angel Tints off of the Amber and onto the Sprout. Maybe they expected a Rico switch onto the lane, which would be a pretty good pick, but it's not what happened at all. Angel Tints, though, doesn't even need the hard counter to be popping off here. It gets a double kill. Comes to back up on the right lane, but Unima Gaming, they take the lead off the beginning of the game.
Yeah, I like the Sprout pick. Sprout 3 taps Ruffs, 3 taps B, and still does very nice against Amber. Goes right through the Ruffs bag as well. And yeah, we're going to have a very nice start from Unima Gaming, but 09 Gang is looking to take that back. Sprout Wall goes up to the right side, and Angel Tent has full control of the right side, though. He has to make use of it, though. Hitting the shots is going to be the best way to start.
Yep, Angel Tints having some struggles here on the right lane. There's the super from Angel Tints, and ouch, Bogdan isn't quite able to connect. What? Okay, that's actually kind of comical to watch. Bogdan tried to get the fire around the left side. Yeah, there's the bush break that he was looking for. Looks like the Sprout Wall actually interrupted the fire fuel there. That's not something that I've ever seen before, but I mean, you learn something new every day. There's a Sprout Wall from Angel Tints to block off this lane, and I mean, yeah, it works. It works, right? Lou's able to zone off these lanes with his super. Angel Tints is able to do just about the same thing with the hedge. 09 Gang gradually pushing in. There's the super possibility from Bogdan. He's going to use it. Reliable is taking some major damage. Unima Gaming are going to be forced to fall back as they're faced with the 2v3.
Yeah, and we're going to see Ruffs here not getting too many opportunities to win the lanes. He just doesn't do good against Sprout or Amber because, again, those pierce through his sandbags. The Ruffs with the boost does go down. That's not really good. When you're playing a Ruffs, you don't want to take the boost for yourself until your teammates are buffed. And, wow, all the buff brawlers are going to get eaten up by the Sprout. It doesn't matter how much damage you're going to do because the Sprout will eat you regardless.
Yeah, well, Angel Tints is going to be looking for someone to eat on the right lane. A good lane switch up with Ruffs shifting onto the right. There's one shot from Liable. Another, he's just tagging up everyone, but no kills so far. But really what's going to come down to is who has the more percentage on the point as we near the end of the game. And it looks like it might be a Unima Gaming comeback here. There's just not enough time for 09 Gang to get enough capture. It is, in fact, a Unima Gaming game, and we'll be headed to a 1-1 set.
Yeah, but something I want to point, you see the fire on the left side, the little puddle?
Mm-hmm.
The thing with that is when you throw an amber fire next to the water, it'll get split up into two. So you have one part where you can actually burn the enemy, and the other little puddle is actually really useful because it doesn't take up a lot of space, so it's not easy to burn, and you can use it to passively charge your super when you're winning your lane. So yeah, that's something to think about.
It's really smart, actually. Yeah, I always wondered how people exactly got that one little dot of fire so that they can charge up their amber easily. Of course, I was never much of a sweaty amber myself, so it never mattered to me too much, but it does seem kind of challenging. But yes, the use of a water is an interesting mechanic that I was completely unaware of, and maybe our spectators can use in their games to their advantage. Charge up their supers or get that quick reload. Whichever star power you have or feel like using, it is still going to be of assistance. But we saw a almost total turnaround by Unima Gaming in our last game. 09 Gang, they had a domination in game number 1, and Unima Gaming with not necessarily a domination in game number 2. It was a win, right? And it wasn't too close, but it was not a domination by any means.
Yeah, and I think that was Unima Gaming. They got their wake-up call against the underdogs. They're like, oh man, we cannot lose to some people that we haven't even heard of here. So let's get it together. Let's bring a comp that can easily defeat theirs. They know that the opponents are going to be very confident in the comp. I mean, if you can use any comp to beat a top team like that, you're going to want to keep using it. So Sprout easily ran through those brawlers. Those buffed brawlers, even with the buff, it only makes you a little less susceptible to Sprout. He's still going to 4-tap you. The B and the Ruff's just going to get obliterated by the Sprout anyway, even with the 4,000 health, 4,600 health Ruff. It doesn't do anything.
Yeah. I agree, right? Just is not able to really do much. We'll see how things develop as we head into game number 3 pretty soon. Hot Zone is coming to a close. I'd say a tie is entirely possible, but it's pretty much decided after this game. Of course, no Stu, no Bell, right? None of that funny business. No Gene either. So some things to keep in mind, and no Primo. Those are our bans. Not going to see any of those guys coming out here on our third game of Hot Zone. One thing is for certain, though, and that is whoever wins this next game is going to have a pretty big advantage as we head into Siege. If one of these teams can win 2 games in a row, they will be at match point. That is how quickly the best of 3 can advance. And Knight, maybe you can speak from a competitive perspective. It is a little bit stressful to be faced with such a limited number of matches.
Yeah, a best of 3 this year, opposed to like 5 BO3s last year. It's a big difference. I mean, you find yourself just losing to some counter comps in one set, and all of a sudden, your opponent's on match point. It can be very scary very quickly, just dealing with such few matches. So Unima Gaming, like if you're Unima Gaming, you would want like a 5-set game. You would just that would hopefully give the actual objectively better team a better chance to win consistently.
Now, well, we'll see which of these teams that more consistent, that more skilled team is going to be. Reyes gets a kill on the left side and another kill as well. The double kill on Amber and Ruffs, and an actual team kill as well for Unima. But they're still not even in the lead. They're just barely going to eclipse that 33% capture from 09 Gang. Angel Tense has a super. He's ready to go, but when is he going to pop it? Might pop it on the left side. He's really just trying to slow down Bogdan. He's going to be getting long-range control on Reliable. There is the fire fuel, and Reliable is down for the count. Reyes also goes down. Angel Tints now trying to find the pressure on the Gabby. A great, wow, actually I did not expect him to get that kill. He didn't stay alive, but it was a great kill nonetheless.
Yeah, let's look at how this is working out, because earlier I almost thought Unima Gaming had full domination of this game. I thought that was it. But I think the issues began when Reyes accidentally burned his fire that was actually keeping 09 Gang spawn trapped. Once that fire was gone, they just push up and then win it back. But we did see that Ruffs using a supply drop to break the right side. I said that would be a case with Penny earlier, but the same case goes with Sprout, as, I mean, obviously Sprout needs walls to win his lane. And without those walls, Sprout is migrating over to the mid here, which is a great call by Angel Tense, knowing that that's a stronger side.
Yep, Unima Gaming racking up the percentage points. 09 Gang much of the same. It's looking like our last game in many ways, right? Unima Gaming and 09 Gang fighting back and forth, but Unima Gaming just barely taking the lead. 09 Gang, though, they're forced to back up a little bit. They'll still find opportunities to sneak in on the point. Reliable with that killer bee making landfall with 2 enemies, actually. It's going to be a double kill, and he looks for the third, but doesn't necessarily need it. It's already control for Unima Gaming. There's the Sprout wall as well, and it's a Unima Gaming win here in set number 1. And this is what we expected from Unima Gaming, right? They were kind of out of shape in game number 1, but they brought it back for game number 2 and 3, and now they're probably feeling a lot better. They got that momentum to carry into set number 2. One more game win, and they'll be at match point.
Yeah, Unima Gaming can now take a sigh of relief, knowing that they are up this first set, which I don't think they expected, considering 09 Gang is a clear underdog here. Unima Gaming was probably going in expecting a 4-0 sweep across all the games and just walk in, walk out. But it's looking like 09 Gang is here to put up a big fight against Unima. So let's see how they transition to this siege set. But if you're 09 Gang, you feel pretty confident right now. I mean, knowing that you put up such close games against a top team like that, you can still use that as a momentum regardless of the loss. So let's see them turn that into a win here in Factory Rush, I think.
Yeah, I believe it is. So yeah, well, we'll not see the bell, thankfully, because she just completely shuts these down. But we've also noticed that Unima Gaming, they are not scared to run the Lu and try and make it work on lane. So Lu is absolutely a possibility when we are going for the defense, because Lou is able to trap that bot up against the wall. So in response, O9 Gang, they're going to have to come out with some kind of wall break to get that bot through that choke point and prevent Lou from doing too much. Another thing is we could just see something completely batty, and I'm not just talking about Mortis. I don't think we'll see Mortis here, but something crazy, right, is definitely in the realm of possibilities, just because Factory Rush is one of our newer introductions to the competitive map pool, and those long-range brawlers are not necessarily always the best choice.
Yeah. So the thing about Factory Rush is we can actually see some Mortis. In EU, I think in the last monthly final, no, 2 monthly finals ago, we were seeing the likes of Barley, Mortis, and Lou, mirrors from both teams. Because when you think about it, it makes a lot of sense. Barley for damage, Mortis for bolts, and Lou for the defense. But I think we got some Carls here. Grabbing that first bolt doesn't get it, actually. That's interesting.
Well, unfortunate there. It looks like Protic will actually be able to pick up that bolt on the left side. Reyes is going to try and put a wrench in those plans, but Road Rage Carl is going to throw a wrench at Reyes' plans. A level 3 siege bot comes in for O9 Gang, and it's going to be a great start for them as they get pretty much free mid control. It's going to be a bit of a struggle for O9 Gang to retain control of mid, since they are a little bit shorter ranged than their enemies. Reyes is looking for that damage, sneaks up the left lane. He's going to go for the pinch with Angel Tints. Angel Tints gets taps once. Twice would be the kill for Gabby, but it's not happening just yet. Reyes wants the damage. Here comes the heart bombs from Gabby, and Reyes goes down, but the bolt is still fair game. At least it's fair game for Leprotic, who's going to be picking it up. Angel Tints also not able to grab that one. Protic playing keep away as he is just collecting all of these bolts. Is going to be level 8 siege bot for O9 Gang, but Unima Gaming, they're finally picking up a few bolts of their own. A level 3, level 4 in fact, is going to be all that they manage to snag here as that bot rolls in to deal a little bit more damage. Looks like it's going to be more like Bogdan to deal the damage to the Ike. We're headed to the last siege.
Yeah, so we got a ice field on the right side. Reliable have to move into this left lane. We'll almost get a kill on Bogdan here. Does get it. Now this is looking so good for Unima Gaming. They just got to pick up a few bolts here and then win this siege. The comps on both sides are a little bit sus in my opinion. I mean, we got Piper, which is something I've never seen on this map recently. I mean, Piper's just not usable because she's so bad on defense. But we also do have Rico, which is also, I'm not sure what his role here is either, but oh well. Let's see if Unima Gaming can make it work.
Well, here's Reyes, 83%. Oh. We see the defense. Oh, just barely. They weren't able to get it. Wow,
yeah,
tied up.
Yeah, they got it done.
Yeah, they were tied up for 83%, and then the bot just says, like, no, I don't think I will attack the person with the shield up. And that was a game right there. Unima Gaming now at match point, and this is absolutely stressful for O9, just because Unima, they're one game away, and they have shown that even in a close situation, they're going to routinely be taking that win. It's a third win in a row for Unima Gaming. They just need one more. Now, O9 Gang, they can disrupt the momentum with the next win, but still, they're going to be at match point. And at this point, though, it does feel like this is a really tough spot to get out of. It's a very tough task to get your way out of the match point, just to move into bounty and then risk going there again.
Yeah, so I think in that last game, it really came down to one thing. I mean, Unima Gaming was on the offense, but O9 Gang, the one tool they had for defense was Lou. Lou didn't have a snowfield up to defend that bot. I mean, that's just a disaster. With the snowfield up, I think they could have easily defended that and actually won the game. So a little surprised not to see the Lou saving a super, just knowing that you had to defend this last bot.
Yeah, that was surprising to me too, because like the super's not that great for getting mid control. Mid is just so open, and they're are, I guess, choke points, but you know, you can navigate around them pretty easily. This isn't Ring of Fire, right? You're not blocking off pretty much 3/4 of the map with just a single super. You just need it for the defense. That's really the only reason to run Lugia, and they're running it again. And hopefully for them, they will be putting it to work to get that super in the right position at the right time. Angel Tints is going to be looking for the kill to start things off. He's also going to be looking for that bolt. Leprotic is going to try and get some damage, but he's just not close enough. 09 gang, they are at the deficit now, but they weren't when it was time for the siege. It was all tied up, in fact. Unima Gaming now up 2 bolts. It's going to be 3, 4, 5, however many you want, my dude. Unima Gaming, they're going to be taking this next siege.
Yeah, this is absolute dominance from Unima Gaming. This is what we expected to see going into this match. But again, on the comps here from 09 gang, we see a Lu, which in my opinion doesn't make that much sense, because when Unima Gaming is running that Piper, they can just break the walls and make the Lu super less effective. But yeah, Angel Tense is hitting an inhuman amount of shots. Gabby is not even able to push up here, just being pinched constantly by the Rico and the Piper. Yeah. 09 gang getting blown out of the water.
Yep, pretty much blown out of the water. We'll see if they're able to get the defense here, though. It's possible for them to come back for the final siege, but that is going to be, or it's going to have to be, actually, their saving grace. Angel Tints with the wall break. Reliable, getting some damage on the safe. It's burned and battered and bruised, but it's not down yet. Bogdan with the super to get some positioning on the right lane, but Reyes doesn't care. He's on fire, quite literally, as well. Leprotic is going to try and pick up this next bolt, and that might be his ticket to success. Nope. 09 gang, I know it's over. They are throwing in the towel, and wow, they're just shooting at each other too. Eesh, well, this is just like last time. Guys, this is not how you handle it. I'll tell you now, this is not how you handle it. You got to be friendly with your teammates. That's how you build good synergy. Reyes is going to get the easy dub on that Ike, and Angel tends to finish it off. It is a win for Unima Gaming. 09 gang will unfortunately be knocked out.
Yeah, so if I were to attribute one thing to their loss in this siege set, they brought Lu for the defense. So the one thing you have to use Lu for is actually defend, and that's the one thing they didn't do. Lu didn't get a single super on a defense. You saw the Lu right there, had the super up, but just died during the push. Couldn't get the super up. By the time he respawned, bot is on a safe. It's over. I mean, when you can't defend with such low DPS, you're dead.
Pretty much. Let's get a look at the bracket now that it's been updated. We see the W, fat dub for Unima, and it is going to be them advancing. And they will be facing Schalke Timeto later on. But first, we got to see Azorb versus Walkit Romania and Crystal Gaming Red versus Point Gaming. So, got these matches in the wings. Can't wait to see how these turn out. And I must admit also that I'm not too familiar with these guys, right? Knight, you and I were NA guys. Can you really blame us? But also, you love to see new names advancing into the upper echelons of the competitive sphere. So good luck to our teams as we move into our next one. We're going to get to look at the maps in the modes as well for our next game. Safe Zone to start things off, then Split, then Shooting Star. Some pretty good maps.
Yeah. So Safe Zone going to be our first map. This is a map. I don't like this map at all. Heist with Safe Zone and Kaboom Canyon. It feels like Bounty, honestly.
Pretty much.
You're playing Bounty for 2 minutes and then attacking the safe for 10% in the last 10 seconds. Whoever does that better wins.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's what it can feel like too. Well, I mean, I think it also comes down to what picks these guys go for, right? Because if there's anything that we've learned from the round of 16 is that there's usually like a pretty clear winner, and it ends in a 2-0 rather than going to set number 3. So we will most definitely be seeing some complete dominations, even in, you know, once we've gotten down to just our final 2 matches, which is right now. But I think we see some kind of Piper or like a Penny or some, you know, good damage dealers that are able to get good, consistent damage on the safe. We got our bans rolling in as well, Night. We'll get to see what our players are picking in terms of bans. I don't know. I don't know. I've really no predictions or expectations.
Yeah. At this point, you could see anything, but El Primo is definitely a normal ban to see. You got Stu as well. Not shocking at all.
Yep, a pretty
Poco?
normal ban. Poco is going to be our third ban as well. Now, Poco, you know him with Screeching Solo. Absolutely lays into the safe, right? Bell, there we go, for our fourth ban. Phew, no Bell in this matchup. We've seen Bell like once, and even when she was available, neither team used her. They just didn't want to touch her. And obviously, neither team wants to touch her this time either. So those are your bans for our upcoming match. And I think it is, it's pretty expected, right? This is very, very normal given the map pool that we have for our second to last match.
Absolutely. Let's see what these teams decide to go with considering those bans. Probably we're going to see some Gene. We're going to see some Ruffs. Nothing too out of the ordinary considering those bans. Maybe some Sandy as well. I forgot the map. Oh, Safe Zone. So yeah, Piper for sure. Maybe Brock or Colt. Again, Colt is the preferred wall break for EU in pretty much every region except for NA. NA does like their Brock. But yeah.
Brock is OP.
We're going to see Colt. We're going to see Piper and Colette. Yeah, I prefer Brock too personally, but maybe there's something I don't see about Colt.
I just like his wall break better, He's able to get rid of the wall better because of rocket fuel. He's able to get long range control. He's able to, compete toe-to-toe with the long-range duelist, and he has Incendiary as well for a very, very long range and consistent damage on the safe. I think he's definitely slept on in other regions. It really just comes down to, are you willing to play him sort of situation, because he is good, but he's one of the brawlers that you have to be good at as well to make him work. And Cole is one of those too, but, if you're given kind of a choice, right? Do I play the one that I'm familiar with, or do I play the one that I'm not familiar with that's, just as good? Yeah, I'm going to go with the comfort pick here. So Colt, entirely possible. Brock, I would say a little bit less likely, but he's definitely a good pick here just because of that wall break with rocket fuel. Also with the super, you're able to get tons of damage on the safe. So, and you're able to control around the safe as well. You're able to get those shots on enemies and start farming up your next super, so it's a great use of it. It's kind of like Barley's super, where you lay down the control and farm up your next super in the process as well. So those are our possible picks. Of course, why not? Surprise me, guys. I want to see some crazy, wacky stuff.
Yeah, let's see if we can find Edgar in any matches today. I will be looking forward to that. Yeah. Maybe we'll just probably see the regular stuff.
Yeah, regular stuff.
Yeah.
Probably. Let's see, though. We're going to be getting into this.
There's the regular stuff. Yeah. Colt, Colette, and Piper.
Ooh. Never thought I'd be so relieved to see something completely normal. Alex, though, is going to be getting that NA memo and bringing out the Brock. Brock don't stop, and he don't stop doing damage to Azorb. He's still looking for the control in the right lane, but Alex is not even phased. He's actually going to be going for mostly safe damage. Does get pinched pretty hard, still takes down Azorb in the process. There's a wall break from Kurugi, and Azorb is actually falling back quite a bit. There's another super from Cypri. Rocket Romania, they are still in the lead by a long shot.
Yeah, actually, Azorb, the name of that team, is not correct. This team is Laser. And Laser is number 10 in the EMEA region right now. One of the top teams there, have made a monthly finals. And yeah, they have made a monthly final. And yeah, it's surprising to see them having such a bad start here. But Nani versus Piper is a very nice matchup for sure.
Dang, Azorb just popped on the right side. Got that full clip. Kurugi, though, having a little bit of trouble. There's Cypri right in on the safe. Cypri doing some good damage. Alex just needs that rocket fuel, and there's the final shot. Incendiary finishes off the safe. Rocket Romania got the win.
Yeah, Rocket Romania made that look easy. They just went in and out. Yeah, I mean, Cypri, I think that was the main difference here. I mean, Cypri versus the other team's Colette, I don't think there was any discussion about who was better there. Cypri was able to chain supers over and over. got so much damage, so much control for his team. Let the Nani push up against Piper. When the Nani pushed up against Piper, the Brock pushed up against Colt. Brock just shooting at the safe. Colette supers on the safe. I mean, that was not even close. Walker Romania looking very, very strong here.
Yeah, I agree as well. Right? So we'll see. We'll see how things turn out in our next game. Will Laser be taking the win? They just got to like get some better mechanics here, because we saw for the most part like the same strat. You know, maybe we see a Piper or, you know, a Nanny here and there. Maybe we see the Colts or the Brock interchanged. I would definitely say that Nanny is a tough one for Piper to deal with. And we're already going to see that right off the beginning. Ooh, actually, Karugi already with the kill. I take it back. I take it back, Karugi. You can calm down now. Ooh, already pops 2 shots into Alex as well. And Walker Romania are falling back a lot. Azorb pushing up. Here comes Alex, though, around the right lane. Gets that kill onto Azorb. Yeah.
I mean, okay, so usually Nani does well against Piper, partially because of the gadget. The gadget not going to be there because he's using the teleport. So Karugi has a chance to win. Still not a great chance because Nani does outrange, but yeah, he's doing a nice job. And Sibri is still the back, does get the kill. Now he's going to be running around that wall at the back. That's big. Let's see if he does stay alive here. But Alex is on the right with the rockets.
Well, Ty-Z really wanted that damage onto Alex, but wasn't quite able to claim it. Rocket Romania, they're still up on the side of percentage. Cipri still trying to get the damage on Ty-Z, and here comes the pinch. Ty-Z and Karugi going for the pinch. Cipri has a super, though, and he's actually quite pleased with it, though he does get pinched. Once again, Azorb goes down to Alex, and it's up to Quick to keep up the defense here at mid. There's the super. Ty-Z gets smacked with the super, though, from Cipri, and Karugi also has to tank that Nanny super and also gets rid of Quick. Rocket Romania, they got to get some damage here. It can't just be Alex dealing damage to the safe, and it's getting quite close as well. Azorb just have to keep up the offense. They are, oh, well, they were barely ahead, and now it's looking like a Rocket Romania game.
Wow, set 1 for Rocket Romania. They are the underdogs here against one of the best teams in EU, and they got the game. Wow. And actually, something to notice: the Nani did bring the return to sender gadget, so it's a little bit interesting that they didn't use it to win that Piper matchup. I don't think I even saw 3 uses out of it that game. It didn't do him any good. Where that's a free matchup against Piper because they shoot you and you kill them. That's a weird world to live in. But yeah, I don't know. They didn't use it.
Well, I mean, that set, it's done and dusted 0-2 in favor of Rocket Romania, and they just kind of walked all over Laser. So we'll see if they're able to replicate that success as we move into a hot zone for set number 2. Of course, give them a chance to pick their brawlers. Bans are still in place. I think Primo, the band, is definitely going to come into play here because Primo is pretty good at just sitting on that point in a hot zone. Buzz could also be a new introduction as we move into a very just vastly different game mode where it's more about control and or perhaps just walking onto the point repeatedly and then dying and then walking in again and then dying again just to claim that percentage for yourself and your team. So picks, what are we feeling Nighttime Clasher?
Yeah, so on these hot zone maps, we see always a lot of Gene. I think all these teams generally have enjoyed the Gene pick. What was the hot zone map again? Let's find out. Oh, it's split. Never mind, no Gene.
B Colt from both teams.
Yeah, we got B and Colt. The wall break comps are coming in strong today. Haven't seen it much, honestly, but yeah, the teams are trying to make good use of it. They start out with some silver bullets on that right side. Don't actually connect with all the walls, so the Rico is going to be left with some tools to deal with the Colt later on.
Alex keeping up the pressure in the right lane. Rocket Romania vastly in the lead. It looks like it could be a match point. Ty-Z still trying to keep the control here. He has the super ready to go. Alex in a tough situation, and he does fall. But on the left lane, it is absolutely a Rocket Romania W. We're going to see Quick go for that last bit of percentage, but he's just not able to get it. Walker Romania, they might actually just completely commit on the right lane, because this is the one that they have not captured as much, and it's just TyZ all by himself. TyZ has a super, but it just doesn't contact anyone. Though those were some fancy angles, so I will commit him for that one at least. Azorb, though, kind of taking this one back, actually. There's the slow from Cypri, and Alex is walking all over this point, but just doesn't look like Walker Romania has really been able to get any kills here. They're just trying to walk in on the point. That's not really going to work. They have to establish pressure first. And Quick does it with the super. Cypri trying to get the damage with the powered up B. TyZ unfortunately goes down, and it looks like a Walker Romania win and a match point.
Yeah, and I think earlier I said this was the Laser team, but it's actually the Laser Academy team, which makes this match a lot more even statistically. But yeah, I don't think that even matters because Walker Romania is walking right over them in these games.
Yeah, well, walk it right over the enemy, and that is exactly what they've done as well, right? Here on Split, the meta is Colt B, and they just executed it better as well. So here in the mirror match, this is where we really get an idea of who exactly is the more favored team, who exactly is the more mechanically skilled team, and by many means, it appears to be Walk It Romania. Azorb, they still have a little bit of time left. They have the chance for the reverse sweep, but they are at the mercy of match point now. It is, of course, the best of 3 coming in full force for the 4 game wins to take you all the way down in just a couple of modes. So Walker Romania, best of luck to them. Maybe a little bit more luck to Azorb, but want to see what Walker Romania is really made of when they're faced with a challenge. So only our next game can tell. We'll be moving into it very shortly.
Yeah, maybe we'll see our, what is this, 7th sweep of the day.
Yep. We got another sweep coming in for you guys. Eight matches. Yeah, and I believe there was a forfeit as well. So if you really want to call that a sweep, I guess you can say is a forfeit, right? And then we'll be moving into our final match after this one. But the game at hand, right? Our bands, we have the Bell, we have the Primo, we don't have them. We don't have the Gene either, and we don't have the Stu available. So what are going to be the picks? Do we see the Colt B once again? With all these walls broken open, our teams are very much going to be timid of running the tanks because they're going to be running into the long-range brawlers, most notably B, I would say. So let's get it. It's a match point. We see no B, actually, from Azorb. Walker Romania, they're running the Colt B still, and Cypri's on that M's. Walker Romania, they already got a strong start.
Yeah, we see Azorb running the Spike. I'm not sure how I feel about that. I don't think it does well into any of these matchups, to be honest.
Yeah, it is a tough one, right? Kurugi is really trying to make the big cactus work, and he is actually doing a pretty good job of dodging things out on the right lane, but it can only last for so long, and Alex can only dodge so much. He's going to have to wait for his team to come back, and here comes Quick. Deal some damage to Kurugi on the right lane. The block with a big cactus and the heal, but he's right back where he started. Just one tap away from going down. Azorb is also very low. Quick is actually not able to get the kill on him, though. And here we see Alex with the last bullet to finish him off. Walk It Romania vastly ahead. Cypri also not going to fall to TyZ here. There's the pinch that we wanted to see, the stun, but it's not enough to take down TyZ. Walk It Romania, they crossed that 85%, no, 83% mark. But Azorb, they just started to catch up.
Yeah, and Alex shoots a great clip. Cypri with the hype star power, just going to kill off Ties there. Yeah, this is a very dominant victory, as we've seen throughout this entire set. Walker Romania gonna be a team to watch out for in these future matches.
Yep, absolutely. Make sure you come back later to see what Walk It Romania is up to. But we know what happened today, and they left it all out there for everyone to behold. A 4-0 victory for Walk It Romania, and I believe that's the first that we've seen today. Even when we saw, the possibility for a 4-0, one team decides, no, I think we'll go for triple throwers. And, well, it goes how triple throwers usually goes, with a loss. So congratulations to Wocket Romania on their win and their advancement to the quarterfinals, where they will also be unlocking that best of 5. But before we get too ahead of ourselves, we need to get the chance to look at what exactly our next match is going to be as well. I'm looking forward to it. It is the bracket. Crystal Gaming Red versus Point Gaming is coming up next. One of these guys is going to be the worthy opponent of Wocket Romania.
Yeah. Looking at the leaderboards of EU, I do not see any of these teams here. So yeah, they'll be looking to make a name for themselves. And we will go to the bans now.
Yep. Let's get those maps and modes out here. I guess we'll get the bans. Maybe we can speculate a little bit on what the bans are going to be. Nuts and Bolts, Minecart Madness, Split, Classics. Though we haven't seen Minecart really at all today, and this is going to be a great way to end things off. It is just kind of like a cheese map sometimes. Like, it is absolutely predictable, right? Like, if you really go and study, then you will notice that the minecarts come at the same intervals from the same side every single time. So it is predictable, but it just feels so random. It introduces this minecart, the X factor, into the game that makes things all that more interesting.
Yeah. So Nuts and Bolts, our first map, we've already seen the dinosaur and some Carl being able to grab the bolts there. So let's see if that is consistent. But Minecart Madness is going to be more of an open map where you can see a lot of Belle possibly, but she'll probably be closed off. Or yeah, then we'll see some Piper, some 8-bit in the mid of Minecart Madness. And third set, yeah, we don't have to worry about that. It's not going to happen. Yeah. Let's
much
see how.
Yeah, if we're keeping with the trend of today, then yeah, we're not going to see Minecart Madness. I'm very open to the idea of a set number 3 on Minecart Madness, but I just feel like it's a bit of an impossibility here in the round of 16. Just the skill gap between the teams appears to be too large for the third set to happen. Let's get a look at the bans though, and maybe from there we can determine exactly how these are going to pan out. What are our bans? We got 4 bans possible. They're ABBA bans. Crystal Gaming Red, they have the first ban, and what are they going to choose? Poco for first ban. I think that's a confidence ban actually, Knight.
Yeah, Poco is actually looking very common as a ban in this EMEA and EECA region. We see him a lot, and EU generally, like, they like to ban Poco and Byron, and not something that is very common in NA, as they like to see more of those funny comps. But you're gonna see Bell is open here.
Yep. As soon as we see Buzz for the final ban, yeah, it is a Bell game. It is a Buzz ban in a Bell's world. So, I mean, Minecart Madness, we are going to see the Bell in play, and is going to be very frustrating for a lot of our brawlers. Though, let's talk as well about what some of the picks are going to be on Minecart Madness, right? We absolutely know that, you know, it's a gem grab, it's Minecart. We're going to see the possibility of a Piper. We could see a Crow as well to slow down the enemies, make those Piper shots a little bit easier to line up. What else are we feeling, Knight?
Yeah, so on this first map here, Nuts and Bolts, we might see some Bell actually, because it's not as closed off as some assembly required, so it's a possibility, right? But Sprout, on the other hand, is almost a certain pick here. Sprout, we've already seen him have such dominant control over the map. Walls can just choke enemies almost all the areas on the map, and then you can use it to defend with the what is it called? The transplant gadget. You can just place down multiple hedges and make the bot walk left to right. All right, so we got Mortis pick from Vation and Bell on the side of Point Gaming.
Yep, Crystal Gaming Red. Ooh, they get stunned massively. Sunny and RNE are somehow able to make it out of here. Invasion has that golden Mort rolling out. Very stylish. Ooh, he's not going to get baited into the super by Surge. level 3 siege bot for Crystal Gaming Red. And, well, you know, Crystal Gaming Red's taking notes because they're running the siege more as well. Pops that pin, and Point Gaming, you're going to have to fall back. Oh my gosh,
Wow.
what? Stop this guy! He pops the double bats twice in a row? What are we witnessing? What are we witnessing, Knight? The double bats already, and Crystal Gaming Red, they are pretty far in the lead. The double stun from Sunny, and another super is possible. Skonksel Steel is going to go down, or Skonksel Steel is going to go down. R9E gets a long-range control, and Vivation is just ready to launch himself at any enemy that dares approach the left lane.
Yeah, Crystal Gaming is playing this absolutely beautifully. The Mortis is getting all the value he wants in the world, and is baiting out the Gene gadget slowly, so it becomes more prevalent throughout the entire game. And of course, the Sweet Dreams gadget from both sides, the Sandy's getting quite a lot of value out of it and using it at the best times. But notice Swam has not used his pulls effectively at all. I think he's only gotten one pull this entire game, and the other one was a miss. But Vatsian gonna go even into the Ike range to get a kill. That's what a good Mortis can do.
Yep, Crystal Gaming Red keeping up the defense. Actually, Skonksel Steel is going to try and make it happen on the defense. Yes, actually manages to make it out of here. I think he just banked, well, he's about to have banked 4 bolts all by himself. Just completely carrying the mid-fight. It's going to be Point Gaming getting this offense. Crystal Gaming Red is going to have to go for the defense. They just don't have a super, though. R9E needs to find this opening, but he can't quite yet. Nope, still. There we go. There's a super, but it's the final siege, and they have to defend at least past 29%. Are they going to be able to do it? Yes, actually. Swarm is not going to be able... What?
Wow.
A 1% game. Crystal Gaming Red, they survived by a 1% margin.
Yeah, I think that they made a major mistake there. Crystal Gaming almost threw that game, actually. When that Surge was grabbing those bolts, the Bell tried to do a last chance shot with the Bell super. While the Surge is at 900 health, the Bell super only does 700. They should know that's not going to kill the Surge, so why use the super there? They just had to save that super for that bot, and this wouldn't even be close. They barely held on there, and Point Gaming actually able to do way more damage than I expected them to. Gene, Sandy, and Surge is not a comp that you would typically associate with high damage, but they did 70% of that safe, just barely not able to get it.
Yeah, that's just like colossal right there. Crystal Gaming Red, I mean, they're without a doubt in the lead for most of the game, and Point Gaming, they almost brought it back. Like, some really fancy moves by Crystal Gaming Red for the entire time. I had my eyes just locked onto the Golden Mort for the entire game. He's getting, like, double bats chained back and forth and back and forth. And I think we could see that move also repeated in Minecart Madness. It's going to be something that Point Gaming is taking note of, so they might go for some kind of counter in set number 2. But bringing it back to set number 1, I think Crystal Gaming Red, right? Like, they're definitely trying, but they're kind of like a cut above Point Gaming. And now that things got kind of close, they're going to be taking it a little bit more seriously.
Yeah, that's very interesting with the Mortis pick, because Mortis typically does get hard countered by a Surge, and Gene is a very good option against him as well with a knockback. But yeah, Varion, whoever the Mortis was, went in on the Gene so many times. The Gene was just using all the gadgets. No way to deal with him anymore. And then the Surge, not able to use jumps as effectively as he would want to deal with that Mortis. So yeah, very surprising to see the Mortis work. Point Gaming needs to brush up on some of those mechanical mistakes, because Mortis should be the least of their problems in this match.
Yeah. I think it's going to be a maybe recurring theme throughout this match as well, right? But do we see the Mort? That is my biggest question. I love seeing the Mort. I love the Siege Mort. Of course, I'm an NA fan, and I love to see the Siege Mort, and we don't see it this time. No, perhaps it was to bait out Point Gaming also to play a little bit more counterplay. Vation is going to get that gadget right off the bat. RNE will be able to claim this bolt as well. Skonksel Steel is not going to be able to get the kill on RNE, but he does bank the bolt, and things are tied up for our first siege. Comes down who gets control of mid first, and it's still looking like a Point Gaming mid.
Yeah, we're seeing Surge from both teams, which is honestly a little bit surprising in my opinion. Surge is not typically a brawler that you see a lot on Siege, because he doesn't do damage on defense or offense. But yeah, you're going to see Point Gaming taking full control of the map here with that Sandstorm. And if you were on the side of Crystal Gaming Red right now, you just want to pick up a couple of bullets and try to win that last Siege, but also try to prevent a 10 bot. That's the problem. But it looks like Point Gaming does get the 10 bot.
If it is going to be the 10 bot from Point Gaming, the perfect number to get that purple guy running all the way towards your enemy safe. Skunskull is still going to be getting lots of bolts for his team. It's only a 1 bolt difference. No, a 0 bolt difference. Crystal Gaming Red, they picked up 5, and Point Gaming has picked up 5 just off the last Siege. Crystal Gaming Red trying to keep the defense, but let a lot of damage through. There's the super from Point Gaming, and with the Sandy super down and the heal out, it's looking actually like a Point Gaming win here.
Nice pull, but it's not enough. I mean, look at this. Even if they did get the Siege, a Sprout on defense is almost impossible to break through with this kind of comp. And yeah, I think, yeah, they are going to tie it up here. Yeah, it's a tie. But yeah, I think Point Gaming definitely made good adjustments there.
Yeah, well,
I think if you're Chris, go ahead.
Oh well, that definitely hurts. Yeah, for Crystal Gaming Red there.
Yeah, so if you're Crystal Gaming Red right now, maybe you just go with the Mortis again. That clearly worked wonders for them in the first game, despite the counters. So imagine what you could do if there was a Sprout on the other team.
Yeah, that is true, right? And I think maybe this is a bit of a bait, right, to play the Mort again, and then they'll continue also to play the Surge to counter out the Mort. But something we did see is that Surge was not really as adequate of a counter to Mort as we had perhaps expected. He was still able to avoid the super from Surge and bait things out or walk out of the way or get some really good reactions to not be too affected by something that should normally counter him. So moving into game number 3, it's all down to the predictions of who's going to play what, because it is not clear at all. It's not going to be a game of mechanics. It's going to be a game of counter comps first and foremost.
Yeah, let's see how they address that. But I think from both teams, we're seeing very low damage comps, more focused on the control here. But if one team was to go with a one push comp, I think that could be a very easy way to take a quick game off. Sprout wouldn't be able to get a wall up in time for that first defense. So let's see how they make these adjustments that they really need to make.
Yep, well, it's all going to come down to this next game. I think it's pretty unlikely also that we see the tie, so it's all going to be about who gets this one game and then perhaps grabs another game in a row to take us to match point. Of all of the games that, or of all of the matches that, of all the matches that we've seen today, this one, I think, to me, looks most likely to go to set number 3. We could see it happen on our hot zone map. We do see Vasion now on that Mort. Goes for the first bolt, and also the Sprout from KGB this time. Skunk'll steal, though, picking up 1 bolt on low health as well. Sunny's not going to be able to access him. Storm's looking for perhaps a stun on Evasion. There actually is super, or rather the gadget from Sunny. Not going to keep them alive, but Crystal Gaming Red is going to keep themselves alive just by virtue of getting the first siege. Vasion barely stays out of the way. Point Gaming is going to try their best to defend this. Hopefully Crystal Gaming Red does not give them another super. They'll be able to take that.
Yeah, and looking at the comps here, I don't like the comp from Point Gaming. They have a Sprout and a Lu, and what the heck was that? But yeah, Lu and Sprout, it doesn't make that much sense because they do the exact same thing. They both do defense. You don't need 2 of them for a successful defense. You just, what the heck? Vasion is going crazy.
Okay. Well, that's what you love to see. That's why I wanted to see them more again. It is so entertaining to watch. You know, Facian once again. Oh, he gets shut down. Level 7 siege bot though. For our next siege. You know, the speedy boy is heading in. He's not that speedy. He's just a level 7. But R9E is going to try and take advantage of this opportunity to push in. Point Gaming, though, they've done their research. But so is Sunny. He's going to break open the wall. R9E is trying to get all over the safe. And it's really because, well, actually, I don't know. Because they could absolutely have mid control here. Vasion actually gets stunned, and he's not able to profit too much off of the triple bats. R9E also shut down. Sun not going to be able to make it in here. There's the Stomper, and R9E looks for the kill, but can't quite make it. Here's Evasion, though. Is he going to be able to get lots of damage? Doesn't look like it. Looks like Point Gaming just got to push in here and get loads of damage. Crystal Gaming Red, they can get some crucial kills here. They have the win.
Yeah, earlier when they were on the offense, Frank, I saw him actually miss a stun on the Ike, which would have actually just sealed the deal, I think. But still here with the stun on this defense, yeah, this is easy to defend, to be honest. For Crystal Red, a Loot and a Sprout really does almost negative damage. They're so useless against an Ike. With a Bull and a Frank, it's a free defense.
It's okay. It's okay, Knight. I know how you feel about loot supers on the Ike. It's all right. I understand your pain at this point, but that is set number 1 out of the way. We'll be moving into, of course, Minecart Madness, Absolute Madness on the way. If we're meant to leave any madness behind us, which I can assure you that even though there was madness in the Siege, it will only escalate and exponentially increase as we head into Minecart. Gonna see that more again. Gonna see the Sprout again as well. Knight, any predictions?
Honestly, these teams are wild. I think you could expect anything from Vadion. But on Minecart Madness, Mortis is an alright pick. Will struggle a little bit without the help of a Poco, which they won't have, I don't think, because it's banned. Yeah. But yeah, Mortis is, I don't know. I don't think he can use it again. But hopefully we see some normal comps. We'll see some Piper. We'll see some Sprout, some Crow on these maps. That's probably the best option you could go with.
I agree. I think those are some pretty likely picks as well. So as we move in, we'll just have to hold on to our predictions and, of course, have our expectations just completely undermined here by something absolutely wacky, especially after we saw the Bull, right, getting loads of damage and lots of control in Siege just now. Really, anything's possible as we head into set number 2, but if Crystal Gaming Red, they're able to get one more game in a row, and they do have momentum on their side, then they'll be headed to match point, and we could, well, see another 2-0 victory to finish off the day.
Absolutely. This might be one of the closer games of today, actually. Almost tied with the Absorb team with the, I forgot what the other, the Romania people. But yeah, the last two are looking like close games. Maybe we will see a set 3 eventually.
Yeah, eventually, just maybe not today. I can assure you we're going to be seeing set 3 tomorrow when we move into a best of 5 format. I don't know if there's necessarily even an option, right? I do know whether there's an option, and the answer is no, there is not an option to just skip a set 3 in a best of 5. But here, I don't know. I think it's like maybe just as unlikely unless Point Gaming really turns things around. Still looked to me like Crystal Gaming Red was the one who was in control, though. Here we see some of our ordinary Minecart Madness gameplay, which is probably the weirdest thing about this, is that it is actually quite ordinary. Yeah, Vaish is having a little bit of trouble on the right lane as he gets poisoned, and well, that's about it, right? It gets withered away by KGB, but only held back a little bit. R9E, though, stuffing these bear traps up at mid, is going to have to back up because of that minecart. Sconsko Seal, actually, dropped to 1 health there. Managed to deal a lot with Guard and Mulcher, but that was about it. Swarm taking some huge damage from that damage amplifier as well. He's going to get the chance to heal up, but that is all he is going to get the chance to do. That thing is going to stay hanging over his head. Crystal Gaming, they got to push in. Point, they have control.
Yeah, so I think the biggest problem for this Crystal Gaming team is that Sprout. This is just an absolute pain to deal with. They have nobody that can even get on the Sprout. The spike against the Sprout is just terrible. Amber on the Sprout, useless as well. They have nothing to deal with it. It's not even close.
Yeah, Skunskill Steel can get loads of control. Though, do we see the kill? No, actually, he's able to get that super out of the way. Evasion also not able to get the burn onto it, but there is the interruption. But now it's going to be Skunskill Steel to bring this one back. All the gems. Sunny gonna struggle to push in. Does dodge out a lot of shots, but eventually falls. R9E trying to find this opportunity to push in. Do we see the wall goes up? R9E is not able to get the kill, and it's a point gaming game. No match point.
Yeah, that's interesting to see there. Sprout is obviously a very good pick from Point Gaming, and let's see how they adjust here. Maybe Crystal Gaming says, okay, well, you're going Sprout. Maybe I'll just pull out the Mortis, because Mortis doesn't do that bad against Bell and Sprout. But the issue with that is Crow is really good against Mortis, on the other hand. So they got to be careful about how they play this. And honestly, if you're Point Gaming, you can probably expect that at this point. I mean, those guys playing Mortis is not something that would surprise me. If they're playing in Siege already, Gem Grab seems much more tame.
Yeah, I think perhaps like a Byron could be an okay pick here, and that would be able to hold up at mid. But the thing is, like, how are you going to fit Bell into that equation as well? You'll definitely like outrange an enemy, perhaps. Definitely be able to outrange Crow with Byron, and not 2-tap him, but you will be able to 3-tap him. You'll be able to get really good damage on Crow, and it's totally possible. So, it's entirely possible to bring it out. It's going to be a bit of a struggle. Maybe the Crow is just like the counter to the Mortis play and is going to be defending Sprout most of the time.
Yeah. So let's see how they play around these interesting counter comp situations, because again, it's a I know that yeah, you know how it is. But yeah, maybe we could see some big changes. But no answer to Sprout from the side of Crystal Gaming Red.
Yep, Crystal Gaming Red. What do they got to say to this one? Sunny is bringing out the Crow. Invasion still on that Amber. R9E able to push up way higher than usual. Does pass that shot on to Invasion on the right side. R9E once again trying to push up. Has that bear trap on his own side. There's the minecart to keep them from retreating as well. 1680 health, but he's still able to push up. Might even get a little bit more aggressive, but Sunny is going to be picking up these chips. I wonder why R9E doesn't want to pick him up. He just doesn't want to risk the damage from Skunskill Steel at the moment. Evasion is going to be the one to look for the damage on Skunskill Steel. And R9E still starting to push up. Does get that damage amplifier onto Skunskill Steel, and Evasion is going to be switching lanes with left.
Yeah, they do have a gem advantage here, but not a whole lot of control. Sunny is, yeah, look at this. The Crow is struggling so much against this Sprout here. I mean, it doesn't even matter that Skunskill Steel has that. Oh man, a wall goes down to block off his own team from the gems. That's not good.
That is not good at all. Unfortunate. R9E is going to be able to recover all of these, and R9E dodges out the damage amp from Swarm as well. As now Crystal Gaming Red in the lead when they were just at rock bottom moments ago. R9E is going to be forced to retreat here behind the minecart, but he will find the opportunity to deal some damage to Swarm. He's able to push up. Left lane is where he wants to be. Actually going to go out and retrieve that further one before grabbing the one on the left. Good call. R9E with 9 gems, but that last one is inaccessible thanks to Skunskill Steel. Sunny receives that damage amp, and he doesn't get the super. Swarm is slowed down, though. He has to retreat early. R9E tries to make it out, but they're all just feeding into KGB super. It is a point gaming game. We're going to be heading into our final set, actually, and turns out we were right. We were right, Knight. It was going to be our first set 3 of the day.
Yeah, so it's interesting. You saw the end there. The bell from the blue team just held on to that damage amplifier for so long, and that was interesting to me because he has to make a decision. He can either keep that sprout tag on the right side, which is their biggest issue, or they can try to hit the other bell. I think naturally you have to hit the other mid. I mean, you have to get it on the other mid so they can't push up as much, and they just die with the gems, hopefully. So that was interesting how they were addressing that, but yeah, not the right choice at the end of the day.
Yeah, I also thought it was interesting how we unfortunately saw all those gems blocked off, and Crystal Gaming Red, they were able to come back and grab all the gems, pick them up, and be competitive once again. Point Gaming, they had a couple of misplays here and there, but they were able to bring it back because I just think, honestly, that the Sprout worked so well, and Crystal Gaming Red, they just weren't able to answer. We'll see what the response is here in set number 3, our first set number 3 of the day. Wonder if we'll see the Sprout again, but one thing's for sure, and that is that the Bell is probably making an entrance.
Yeah, it would be very surprising not to see Bell on this map. So, well, yeah, we'll see how the teams play her, how you can actually diff the other Bell, because it's always going to happen. But
Yep.
oh no,
Well,
without a wall break on either side, there's not going to be a Bell. But we do have funny comp.
El Funny Conf, actually. Sunny gonna try and keep things up, but it's the Colt and the B, and it does pretty well versus the tanks. So at the end of the day, it does depend on execution. Nation is gonna get the stopper and the kill on the KGB. Skunkskull Steel goes down, and the stun onto Swarm. Crystal Gaming Red, they are still vastly in the lead. And if you ask me, this is why Colt B has been falling in popularity. Because this is what happens, right? Your enemy, they're just able to stay alive. They don't even really need healing. They just need to stand on the point, and you're long range, and you're strong when you're not near your enemy. Maybe you're strong near your enemy, but you're stronger because you can't really be touched. And you're forced to stay away from the point, and your enemy just gets free capture. It's looking like a Crystal Gaming Red match point coming in. Sunny has the super ready to go. R9E pushing him back. Ovation just keeping the left side secured. It's an easy win for Crystal Gaming Red.
So, yeah, I don't know. I feel like Colt B should be an easy way to deal with the Frank there, but I guess not.
Yeah, it's like a little bit strange, right? Because you would think, but at the end of the day, you got to be able to hit your shot. I mean, it's not too challenging to hit your shots with B, right? You can just auto-aim, you can just mash your super and your auto-aim the entire time. With Colt, though, you do have to walk with your enemy and hit your shots and get full clips and get consistent damage. The other thing is you are faced up against a Gale a lot of the time, so you are probably going to get slowed down as well, which is going to make it harder to hit your shots. So that's a reality that Colt B is facing currently. So Colt B versus Colt B, it's a fair matchup. Colt B versus some kind of control comp is going to be a Colt B win, but Colt B into the tanks, it's still going to be a tank win, even though on paper it should get countered pretty hard. So now we're at a Crystal Gaming Red match point. Point Gaming, if they win 2 games in a row, they can absolutely bring it back, but the momentum is on the side of Crystal Gaming Red. Just need one more game, and they will be advancing to the quarterfinals.
Yeah, maybe we'll see some more funny comps from them. Certainly, they were not afraid of playing it into hard matchups. So yeah, we'll just have to see.
Yeah, not even close, right? Because they got the Gale, they got the Frank, they have the Bull as well. Bull is one that I find very entertaining as well, right? Because he just like has a lot of health pretty much, and he has a shield that pops up after he's taken like a good amount of damage. and that's basically like he has good short range damage, but you could play like Daryl or something and get pretty much a guaranteed kill with every super. You could play like Jackie and just sit there and receive heals the entire time. No, actually, Crystal Gaming Red, they're not even switching things up. Point Gaming, they're switching on the Rico though, which is absolutely a good call. It's going to come down to whether Sunny can dodge, and it just doesn't look like the enemy's really able to hit him effectively.
Yeah, Swarm's going to walk right into that Frank there and just burst him with the super. No problems at all from him. And yeah, they're all over these tanks already. And even though Crystal Gaming did get a good start, it's not looking that good anymore.
Yeah, it was looking really good off the start, and now it's starting to fade into the past. Evasion, it gets slowed down by KGB, and Sunny is really struggling. Here he has the super, can't even get that hammer down on the ground. R9E looks for the stun, does actually push back the enemy's Evasion, does get the kill on Skoxel Steel as well, and this is the beginning, perhaps, of a turnaround for Crystal Gaming Red. We do still see that capture racking up on the left side. Skoxel Stell is still taking damage, goes down. There's the honeypot, and unfortunate. Let's see if Vation's able to get that stomper. He does, in fact, and it is about the left and right lane. Sunny gets the stunny, and R9E still tries to push, and it's all about that left lane, but R9E needs to defend the right, but he can't heal up, and KGB gets the kill. It is such a close affair, but it is Point Gaming to take game number 2, and we're headed into game number 3 of set number 3.
Yeah, our closest game of the day, it's looking like. And I don't know, Crystal Gaming, they just run the tanks right into the Rico, the B, and the Colt. They have no fear. They actually made that way closer than it should have been, in my opinion. But I think at the end there, if they actually got the kill on the Colt with the Frank stun, it might have been a different game. But yeah, we'll see what they go. Maybe they just say, all right, we'll play normal comp. Just make sure we win this. But yeah, being able to play that well against some hard counters, in my opinion, that's a nice job from them at the end of the day.
Yeah, I think the strategy here is going to be, maybe we see the tank comp from the enemy team, home team, they run the Colt B, and then they get countered really hard. It is, they've opened up this whole world of rock, paper, scissors, as we call it, for themselves, right? Because now they've shown the enemy, like, oh, okay, this composition works, and it works well. And at the same time, they've also fallen to that same comp, actually with the substitution of Rico, which is actually a very good call. So now with Rico in play, it's probably going to be enough of a deterrent to keep Frank and Gale out of this one. And yes, in fact, it is. What is Point Gaming bringing, though? Yep, same thing. Let's see how it turns out. 1-1, 1-1, double match point.
Yeah, Surge is going to be a really nice option against these brawlers. It's a little disappointing to see him not get the value that he should be getting. But yeah, Scornful Spell is just breaking over this entire map here. And yeah, I think this should be a good matchup for Crystal Gaming. Let's see if they can capitalize on it.
Point Gaming, we see Skoxel Stell getting a massive super, but Evasion responds with Revenge. Point Gaming, they're in the lead by a clean 10%, it would seem. Crystal Gaming Red, now with control of both hot zones, are looking a lot better by comparison. They eclipse Point Gaming here, and it's going to come down to Evasion, actually, to get the kill on KGB on the right lane, which in fact he does. Swarm is still trying to lay down the pressure on the left. Sunny picks up the kill, and it's looking like a Crystal Gaming Red win if they just stay exactly put where they are. Evasion has that home, rather bouncy castle. He's going to be healing himself up 90%. Point Gaming, got to do something quick.
Yeah, that's looking like game over here. And yeah, they're all over the zone. They got the right comp and they won. Simple as that. Crystal Gaming Red gonna take our final match of the day.
Well, congratulations to those players. Definitely a hard-fought victory right there. We went to the double match point, right? Our first set 3 of the day, and it was just so close. You love to see it, and it's a great way to end off the day as well. Congratulations. And that is it for our round of 16. I believe pretty soon here, we're going to get a chance to look at the bracket. Let's take a look at all of our quarter finalists now. They've graduated from the round of 16. Let's see. It's going to be Navi versus Pharmacy Centers, Genius Gene versus Esport Empire, Schalke Temeto versus Unima Gaming, and Waka Romania versus Crystal Gaming Red. Those are your quarter finalists. That's your top 8 in other terms. So congrats to those teams. Can't wait to see the matchups. And Navi BS versus Pharmacy Centers is probably the one that I'm looking forward to the most tonight.
Yeah, whoever wins that game will probably win this entire tournament, I think. Only going to have to face up against Unima on that right side. But I think Pharmacy Centers being a pretty strong team in EU and uh, Navi being a top team, they should be definitely winning those games there.
Yep. Well, I think that is actually going to do it for Trovo Titans today. Just amazing matches today. We got to witness 7 of them. One of them, unfortunately, was a forfeit. But, I mean, it was still a 2-0, right? All 2-0s except for that one glorious 2-1 that sent us off. I believe we are going to be getting a raid as well onto someone. So, yes, let's all get ready for the raid as well. Everyone, make sure to give that streamer we're rating a big Trovo Titans hello, and make sure you let them know that it came from Trovo Titans. But with that, that does it for Trovo Titans today. We'll be back tomorrow night. Any final words?
And yeah, we look forward to tomorrow's games with some of the top teams facing off in this Trovo Titans competition. We'll see who takes it all. So if you want to stay updated with that, make sure to follow and turn the notification on. And we'll see you tomorrow in the afternoon, evening, or morning, depending on where you are.
Yep. Well, you won't want to miss the first match. As Knight said, whoever wins that one is probably going to go on to win the whole thing. So make sure you arrive on time. Keep those notifications on. This has been Ready, Set, and Nighttime Clasher. We will see you guys next time.